I am going to maximize the technology here. We have information that this Jade Helm operation in Florida, in the southern states of Arizona, Nevada, Utah, New Mexico, is going forward, yet the government won't admit what they're doing. And the only person that's really broke it is Alex Jones, which makes me wonder, are they just trying to make us all frightened that they are going to do military exercises in the Southwest? I haven't seen the link from the rare earth metals on 60 Minutes, Willie. I'm going to check my email in just a bit. Sorry I didn't catch that. That's okay. We don't mind starting at 6 o'clock on the dot. Thank you, though. We are building a technology show tonight. We're going to have a 3-hour show ahead of you. We're going to be talking about technology that is going on right now. We are talking about technology that could go on in the future. Now, one of the areas where our country is seriously lacking is in the development of green, clean technology. Areas where we could actually clean the water, the air that we breathe, and do a better job making sure that our nation is clean and improved, would involve actually building a couple different devices that would solve pollution problems. And my concept is, I'm open to any new suggestions, whether it be nuclear meltdown proof pebble reactor technology so we can create more energy, or whether it is the possibility of creating seawater pipelines that could speckle the earth with passive desalination chambers. And this is represented by our Ocean Pipeline project. And you can check it out at oceanpipeline.com. We're actually suggesting this be used in the terrible drought in California. Jade Helm is a test run of martial law, according to Jerk a Fan. Dave, the airliner's cabin doors can be locked even with a password. No kidding. That just sounds like it should not happen. In fact, I wouldn't doubt the airline cabin doors could be locked remotely. There's technology out there that is able to control the location and destination of an airplane. And it makes you wonder whether they have the ability to hack into the QSR-11 chip. The QSR-11 chip is part of the auto navigation system. I do compost all the time. David, you're not about the money, that's why you're excluded from political groups. That's right, 672, and that's why we're starting our own political group, that is. Yeah, we know that the two parties are completely corrupt. Okay, check out this tech. Well, I'd like to give you some background information on the QSR-11 chip. There's not a lot available. It has a patent on it, and State Department goes after Boeing. Made by a unit of Boeing, is just over 1.5 inches in diameter, weighs about 2 ounces. It's solid-state gyro offering virtual unlimited life. But my concern is that these chips are hackable from outside, that the auto navigation system is controllable from outside of the plane. Hey, check, I dropped off the phone call with Don Tony because you said you wanted to call, and it's available now if you want to call me. Thank you. A lot of you are a little bit shocked by the United Extremists' statement earlier that he was going to hunt me down. I wouldn't be too concerned about that guy. He's extremely jealous and unstable. Tony has some tech we want to look at here. Tsunami may not necessarily destroy the pipeline, but does that mean we shouldn't create fresh water in lieu of a fear of a tsunami? I mean, you're not making any sense here. I know that a lot of people are concerned about RF frequencies and the ability of our government to control RF frequencies and perhaps even our mind. That technology does exist, by the way. In 2007, Motorola created a technology which is a patch you can put on your neck which controls your voice box, which is really, really weird. Yeah, you put a little patch on your neck, and it's some sort of a communicator that controls your voice box. I don't even understand half of the technology that these people have access to, but I can tell you, if I could look at the blueprints, I'd probably figure it out. Impossible quantum space engine actually works, NASA tests suggest. Wow, good to know. Thanks, Don Tony. It's some sort of a tachyon generator, I assume. Great picture. I absolutely have to copy that picture. That's pretty cool, huh? Well, interstellar space travel, time-space continuum crossovers are being developed, I suppose. It's hard to imagine something this advanced, but if people think that they can build these things, I suppose they can. There's a good possibility that our technology is way more advanced than we know. That's something that many people are beginning to think. A couple of years ago, researchers at NASA's Johnson Space Center discovered a thruster system which actually generates thrust despite requiring absolutely zero propellant. The implications of this discovery are far-reaching. Applications for spaceflight and other technologies which require propulsion could one day become far cheaper, allowing space exploration to expand exponentially. It uses quantum vacuum fluctuations to create thrust. Fascinating. Tell that to your girlfriend. Yeah, I'm just creating some thrust here with my quantum multiplier. Yeah, my harmonic multiplier. Okay, so, oh my God, DT Laura got shocked by that. Okay, so resistance is futile. I don't think Carl calls in, but there are people that are concerned. Don Tony called in last night and said he was concerned about the ability of our government to create a technology that controls our brain. That RF frequency manipulation is something that we should be concerned about. A technology like that could veritably destroy a society. Well, I've always argued that RF frequencies are dangerous, and recently the director of the World Health Organization has openly stated that cell phones do contribute to cancer. And that's a serious problem when cell phones contribute to cancer and our government hasn't told anybody. The director of the World Health Organization was reluctant to tell everybody, but finally they're saying that it does contribute to cancer. A big problem for a lot of people who have cell phones attached to their head. I told my sister today, I said, you need to stop using your cell phone next to your ear. I told her that. I said, you need to learn the speakerphone capability. Do not mess around, folks. Your brain is a very, very vital part of your existence, and without a clear mind, you're in danger. Okay, I met a guy who had a brain cancer situation back in the early 80s, and he said he was one of the first guys to use cell phones. And that was a little shocking. He literally walked up to me. I was just minding my own business, and he just started talking to me. It's kind of like strange when you meet somebody who just tells you something out of the blue. Well, if he's making threats, I want all of you to make copies of all of his videos. You can get screencast.com, I believe it is. We'll give you that information you need. Let's talk medical technology. I just heard a story. Doctors want to test babies in the womb for bipolar disorder and then treat them. That's insane. Treating a baby in the womb for bipolar disorder is insane. I mean, what are they going to give them electroshock therapy to lower their mood swings? I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't have a smartphone. I gave up my entire collection of cell phones. I was one of the first cell phone users back in the day. I bought a belt pack by Motorola, and I spent $100 a month on cell phones way back in the day. I used to, really fork over the bucks. It was crazy. And then I realized I don't want to do this anymore. I barely even used it. It was ridiculous. It was terrible. And I always had the phone, the belt pack away from. But I started realizing that cell phones are more of a bother than anything. And now when you walk around, you see everyone tuned into their smartphones and their cell phones, and they're like, And we've become a nation of collectively separate people, all experiencing a similar reality, but not really knowing why. And we don't meet each other anymore. We're just kind of disjointed, disattached, uninterested. It's kind of sad, really. The 9525 co-pilot was the perpetrator. That's a pretty safe assumption. Unless they were flight jacked by some sort of an alien life form. I can't tell you what the answer is to that problem. Still looking for my stuff on RF frequencies. It's not popping up. Oh, where are my RF frequency chips? Yeah, dang. They've been talking about RF frequencies since the 1960s. Okay, we have a chat lock here. I'm going to say Duke tomorrow. Duke is a stronger team than Utah. 577. Let me refresh the chat room. So what the government is doing when we are accosted at the airport, this costs $24 billion, this technology, to take a look at our body parts. I don't find that very cool when they look at our body parts. And I heard that at one time a TSA worker had a pretty woman walking through, and he asked her to walk through 3 times just so he could look at her naked body. Yeah. A lot of lawsuits are pending about the TSA and this technology that they acquired. Almost everything the government touches is a joke. You know those new video cameras that they're trying to put on cops? $236 million program to put video cameras on 5,000 cops' outfits walking around. 50,000 cops will have video cameras, and each one of them is going to cost a little over $5,000 a piece. And I've seen some of the feeds from those video cameras, and they're atrocious. Apparently they have to have a redundant backup Wi-Fi connection when they use these cameras. So by the time the image is uploaded to a redundant server, it is completely dithered in the lowest quality that you could possibly get. Which shows you how dense the government is when they set up a contract like that for $236 million. It's ridiculous. Okay, we're back up again. Sarah has a phone, and I tell her about it, the dangers of the phone. It's easier to text from a distance, like right here. Yeah. Yeah, the TSA rape ritual. I know. And the government has been charged with these crimes, but they always settle out of court. I remember one lady was basically carried along the tarmac 75 feet across the airport floor by her hair because she wouldn't subject herself to the rapid scanner. She claimed that she had a pacemaker. So they literally got her on the ground. They carried her by her hair 75 feet, stuck her in an office, interrogated her. She then sued the Department of Homeland Security, and she won. And the judge said, what do you want to do? What kind of restitution do you want? She said, I just want them to say I'm sorry. And they wouldn't do it. Wow, I wish that Vaughn would get his act together here and improve his chat system. God, we're getting slammed. I'm going to open up my other alternative chat board over at streamup.com/thirdparty. In case you guys want to chat over there, we can certainly interact with you guys. We have video capability over there. We can have a live video chat session and talk back and forth. I'm going over there right now. I just don't get why he can't figure this out. I mean, we just need more server space. Mark, come on. You're constantly affecting our ability to reach out to people and talk to them. We also have a backup chat room on our video chat button at America's Third Party, which we use as a backup. It's Chat Tango, I believe. Okay, let me do this. We're getting slammed over here. Reconnection temp. Okay, I'm going in there right now. I got 2 viewers. Streamup.com/third party if you're still watching us. Cool. I'll write hi in the chat room. All right. We'll see if that can bump a few people over there if we have a problem connecting over here. I'm going to try to refresh this page again. I'm not sure what's happening, but hey, this has been a regular thing on our show now. Whew, wow. Okay, so I wanted to tell you guys I did make a video today about my rebrew method for coffee grinds. I've been going to Starbucks and getting coffee grinds. It's kind of fun. They have a garden compost coffee grind program where you can actually get all their grinds that they go through once with hot water, right? And that's it. And I went through and rebrewed this coffee, and I'm drinking it right now. It's not bad. It tastes just like Starbucks. You got to use a little bit more in the mix, and then I throw the grounds in the garden. I compost them, which is kind of a novel idea. So check your local Starbucks, see if they want to throw away their grounds. You might want to, if you're a regular coffee drinker, I don't have a problem with rebrew. Dave's Rebrew. Nothing wrong with that. Considering coffee is, what, $9 a pound now? It's ridiculous. Hi. We got 3 viewers over there. Okay, good. I don't think they take many guests. That's the problem. You have to join over there at StreamUp. But I don't want to send people to StreamUp. I want to use Vaughn. I like Vaughn. I love Vaughn. But without connection to the chat, it's kind of useless, isn't it? It's very possible we're being attacked right now. This effort to build a third party, as you know, has been going on for 6 years. And we have made inroads, and we have gone beyond our wildest dreams in lieu of all of the censorship that goes on in America today. The mainstream media will not cover the story of a third party. In fact, I've heard somebody said recently that CNN talks about how a third party or any independent party are jokes. So CNN is the mouthpiece of the CIA. Here we go. We're back up again. Earth to Dave. I'm here. Hey, maybe we can get this thing to roll. Vaughn is bleeped. Yeah, I know. We got people in the room. We're not really sure why they're having a problem over there. Yeah, I'm not going to unload your moving van in Bellingham, man. For one, I don't make personal contact with people because of the death threats against my life. And 2, I really don't need the money. And 3, I don't do business here online on our political show. Sarah should be in before 7 tonight because I've got a call coming in from the Washington State Small Classroom Association. They want to have a conference call with her or with anybody to talk about small class sizes for American students here in Washington. I know. Well, he's writing his own code, and he's going to blame it on the servers. But we know that chat has been a problem. No doubt. Many of you people are listening to a guy over there who's threatening me, or some. If you have any abilities of downloading screencast, I need to get copies of all his threats to take and send over to the Department of Homeland Security. As much as I don't want to have to go over there, I will go through the necessary channels to report somebody who's threatening my life. It is because our room is targeted. Okay, guest says, just an observation. Kindly try to stop streaming on other external sites. Okay, I will drop out of Ustream. Okay? Okay. Well, my signal, are you getting any dropout from my signal? You couldn't get it back for the past 10 minutes. You're back, though? Yeah. This agency is more secretive than the NSA, CIA, or FBI altogether. Let's talk about that.
Well, one of the most prominent U.S. spy agencies is probably one you've
This
never
is from
heard of.
RT.
The National
Let's listen in.
Intelligence Agency. Is that right? NGA has become the U.S. intelligence community's new backbone for global coverage. They specialize in interactive mapping and satellite imagery. It's used by the military, diplomats, and decision makers. NGA Intel is credited with helping locate Osama bin Laden, and they have worked with Google and other tech.
Whoa, okay, NGA has been credited for locating Osama bin Laden. You mean the guy that they had on surveillance for 5 years, yet they couldn't see the barrier in the middle of his complex that ended up costing us $1 billion in stealth technology? Oh yeah, they're wonderful. They're collaborating with Google. This is the organization I think that we have to be worried about, folks.
Firms on major joint projects. So as other agencies have been brought down by revelations of intrusive government surveillance, the role of the NGA is set to grow. Joining us in the now is former CIA officer Jack Rice. Thanks for being with us again, Jack. Why haven't we heard about the NGA before?
Okay, well, I think I can answer that for you. Yeah. Just have to get over there. Hang on. Well, the NGA was created in order to pretend that Osama bin Laden was somehow alive, and then we created this theory that we had the ability to actually capture and attain Osama bin Laden, but we decided to kill him without showing you a picture of his dead body because, frankly, he never really was there. Okay, thank you. I can't get over this organization behaving like a rogue organization, creating stories out of thin air. Osama bin Laden was not at Abbottabad. That was a joke. That was an imposter. It's absurd to think that Osama bin Laden was there. Otherwise, they would have shown a picture of his dead body, would they not? Let's go to the chat room. Good story. Thanks for that. Don Tony sent us that link. I'll look at that a little bit. David, Google provides good products. Did I say anything bad about Google? Other than the fact that they're a monopoly and are controlling the entire backbone of the internet? Well, we wouldn't replace Google, guest 124. We would actually become Google. You do not look like him? I know. I was just pretending to be the guy. It was creepy. The Ocean Pipeline is a plan to actually create a complete water desalination system that's portable, easily transportable to various locations around the world, and can provide modular technology, which is a thing that I'm urging in the future. Is modular technology is plug and play, houses that can be brought to a location in different pieces and literally connected without screwdrivers and without nail guns. I don't know anybody by that name. Warren, how you doing? Are you the guy who's arrested for charges in Utah, Warren? Okay, we got a guy named Warren Jeffries. You happen to share the same name of that man. What's your question, Warren?
Hey, Dave. My question is, I watch your show all the time. I'm a huge fan. But what I wanted to know is, what did you think about the Iranian deal that is underway, and supposedly Obama released some kind of top secret information about our nukes deal with Israel? I was wondering if you cared to comment on that.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Hey.
Yeah. The good question, man. The situation is that Obama has. Oh no, don't do this to me. Thank you. Obama has information and he's privy to that information. I'm not. If he released the information about the Israeli nuclear program in order to threaten or cajole Israel into caving in on the deal, Netanyahu coming over here was a big move. It really was. And when we saw that happen, we saw Barack Obama react like a little boy, like he's had his nose pushed in, that Speaker of the House Boehner would invite Netanyahu over to talk about the Iranian nuclear program. I believe that we're in a situation where Obama is a freewheeling triple agent who's engaging in destabilizing policies which could very well impact our nation well into the future with countries like Israel. These are pictures of the modules that we want to line up here. I'll tell you about how the modulars construction works in just a second. But
okay.
Yeah, the idea of Iran's nuclear program not being revealed to us is a solid problem in negotiations, and I agree with Netanyahu. We need to get some clarity on this issue. I'm not at all happy with the fact that Iran will not release the locations of their enrichment plants, and all of the access has been denied to the IAEA's access to the uranium enrichment to find out if they're making nuclear weapons grade uranium and putting it into the tips of missiles. Now, Iran has 9 missile factories, all of which could very well send nuclear tipped ICBMs around the world, which is a serious problem. And I agree with Netanyahu. We need to get them back on the table in Iran. But the telltale signs of Israel having a nuclear weapon are there. And that information that was just released shows that Israel very likely has a nuclear weapon or many nuclear weapons. And if so, they need to sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Agreement. Hello, Bob. I understand they think they're creating nuclear power in Iran, but they would be smarter to let us develop the nuclear power plant for them. And we, America, working in tandem with countries like France and Germany, could actually create pebble reactor technology. Pebble reactor technology is meltdown proof. Iran wants to create an ancient Generation 2 reactor, which is meaningless. So the whole theory that Democrats have that, well, we're just helping Iran create nuclear energy, well, is absurd because, number one, Iran has a tremendous amount of fuel, oil. They don't even have a refinement plant in Iran to make gas. They have to send it outside to make gas. Why wouldn't they dedicate their time creating gas-based refined oil and generate electricity with that? I don't get this. So,
right.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Dave.
Good.
That is 100%. I couldn't have said it better. What is the agreement called again?
The Nuclear Non-Proliferation Agreement. And if Israel is going to get on board with negotiations again, I would say to Israel that they need to sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Agreement because we believe they have nuclear missiles. And when they do, then we can begin the discussion with Iran. But we need some sort of effort by Israel to come forth with the truth about their program before we can expect to get any logistics solved with this nuclear agreement Obama has put on the table, which is completely gutless. It has no merit, no backing. Basically, it's us giving President Rouhani $7 billion for nothing in return. So therefore, I just want to get Netanyahu on that same page. And with Obama grandstanding and making enemies of Israel, big mistake. This president is the worst communicator.
I don't want this to sound offensive, but when Benjamin Netanyahu, I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah, Netanyahu. I was thinking of Yahoo, Netanyahu.
I'm sorry. When he came to the United States and he spoke in Congress, he was, in 8 years almost, he's been the closest thing to a president that I've heard speak in that house.
Yeah, I know.
What are your thoughts? It was a very powerful, impactful speech.
I know.
Me and my buddies, we all
You liked it.
We all watched him.
Yeah, he wouldn't have won the election against a milquetoast competitor that he was up against He wouldn't have won that election if he wasn't a dynamic leader. And Netanyahu has proven to be a very strong leader. He flip-flopped on the issue of the state of Palestine in order to win the election, which is not to his credit. It's definitely not to his credit. But the fact is, he's still talking about developing a state of Palestine within Israel, and we need to work with that. We need to take whatever bones of the remaining whatever's left over of the policies of peace that have moved forward. We need to take those bones and put some meat on them and get back to the negotiation table. Obama can't do anything. He handed the whole thing off to John Kerry. Help is on the way. Remember John Kerry when he ran in 2004? Help is on the way. I don't think help is on the way. I think he's helpless. He doesn't know what he's doing. David, nobody would use nuclear weapons anyway.
I agree with you there, Dave.
No, that's the problem we have, 124. We have a problem with a rogue nation getting nuclear weapons and threatening the world. I don't think a rogue nation with a jihadist motive really cares about mutually assured destruction, dude. I mean, they're already suicidal in their philosophy. So why would they care about mutually assured destruction? We've got the MAD program with Russia and China. We've got stability. We've got the nuclear time clock at 3 minutes till the top of the hour. It moved up recently, by the way, because of Obama and his behavior. But the nuclear time clock could go back to 5-10 minutes if we just have a more open, transparent relationship with all countries involved, especially rogue nations that want to be nuclear power like Iran.
One more question for you, Dave. One more question for you.
Yes.
Does Sarah like raw sex?
All right. So I'm not sure what that question was. This is real. Can you not see? This really is. This is not political theater. And yeah, you've got a link that I can't even get to, 442, of Israel's nuclear program. There's a nuclear scientist in Israel that they keep him under close wrap. He's gone public with the programs that they've had over the years. So if Israel is going to admit that they have nuclear weapons, then we could continue. But until we actually hear them sign the nuclear non-proliferation agreement in Israel, we can't really legally give them any more money. You know, I don't think anybody would fall for anything at this point. I'm an open book. I'm not here to lie to you or deceive you. And many of you people think this is a joke and this is some sort of a political theater. It's not. When people call in and talk about stories like this, just to slip in some snide remark about sex, it shows me what kind of a low-life animal that they are. I mean, how different are all of you people who are addicted to sex to some animal who's running around humping another animal? Some dog with a dingus hanging out, jumping the other dog. You know, I mean, you are more than an animal, everybody. Yes, sex is fine, but you need to cultivate your higher thinking capability. My mother thought that word was hilarious, the word dingus. She used to just laugh whenever somebody said it. She's no longer living, of course, but yeah. The dingus, the dingus factor, that was funny. Stop guess? Okay. Yeah, I seriously said dingus. I think it's hilarious. Well, animals can't win at blackjack, but animals can't lose their entire life savings in blackjack either. Well, you seem like an animal. You seem like a person who just thinks about their sex organ, much like an animal would. Guest on, or you lose supporters, Dave. I called it. Well, don't threaten me to put guest on or off. It's not going to work. But I can tell you that we do appreciate the people that are coming into our show because they are interested in live chat and don't necessarily want to join a network. Okay? Guest is on for now, yes. Okay, so the seawater pipeline modules can be stacked. The center of the seawater pipeline has seawater going into it. You like that? And then the seawater actually evaporates on the inside of the dome, on the inside, and then dewdrops of fresh water come into those little side troughs. You see them right there? And you see we have different outlets and inlets for the fresh water and inlets for the seawater here. See that? Well, these units can be stacked in a line and brought together, and you know, you could create a a lot of these things and put them along a long line. You can create a matrix out of them. Did I say the matrix? I believe you did, Mr. Anderson. You see, the matrix is everywhere, Mr. Anderson. So you can string these along into a matrix or perhaps a line. We could run a line of these things from Los Angeles to Vegas, and they would create about 250,000 gallons of fresh water a day. Isn't that great? And we use non-fossil fuel driven power pumps to put the water in there and move them. They make solar power pumps. They use them right now in Africa, in the Gobi Desert. They pull water from down deep using solar power. We use the same type of technology to move the water into one unit and then onto another, and consequently we're desalinating, creating fresh water. It's all good. This is a brand new technology we're discussing, and it's one of the reasons why I'm running for president, because an ocean pipeline cannot seriously take foot. We can't build one without any kind of political clout. We can't get anyone to get behind this. The catalyst for fast evaporation is surface area. And I'm not revealing the technology that will be in the ocean pipeline, but the surface area will be increased. And the more surface area, the more evaporation. And we will be evaporating in much like a radiator form, where we run the water over a radiator and it evaporates quickly. We're also going to be using a new technology coming out of Lockheed Martin called graphene. Graphene is a brand new nanotechnology, carbon fiber that is completely amazing. It will desalinate water. So I could expect each one of these units to create about 10 gallons a day or more of fresh water, which will be very helpful. I've applied for a grant and I was turned down numerous times. Yeah, I've even pitched this project all over the place and gotten a lot of favorable reviews, but no money, no serious money. There's a person who's developing something similar in Australia right now, and he has a website called seawaterpipeline.com, and that's John Say. I talked to him. Let me see if he still has it. There it is. He has a cool setup in Australia, and he's facing lots of conflict from the people that make seawater desalination systems that are centrifugal based, running on electricity. But this is the concept that he has on his website. Very cool. He wants to create biospheres, seawater aqueducts, and create electricity in the process. He's got a really cool concept. See, this idea is kind of a viral idea and can very well be built. It can take salty, brackish seawater and simultaneously create fresh water and electricity. But we came out with the ocean pipeline about 2005. We penned it on paper and we took out a couple trademarks for it. It will be. Water is the new oil. With the drought in California, water is the new oil, and we're going to need plenty of fresh water in the future, and it will help people be able to expand out. Geography shows us that people will live near a nexus of water, and they'll want to definitely create communities around it. Do you have any idea where the most underground water deposits are? You're looking at it right here. I'm living on one of the largest underwater streams in the area. I'm sitting on pure water. Graphene looks really positive. It's a very, very potential solution to a lot of different needs. Graphene is a brand new product that was just developed by Lockheed Martin. What is graphene? Well, I'll show you an image of graphene. That's graphene. A tight lattice of artificially created nano fibers that can filter salt water. This is a revolutionary breakthrough. There are people that can filter wastewater right now, and they're being used. Their systems are being used in California, but we're still putting wastewater in the ground. This stuff will filter salt water, which is really amazing. Hexagons, yes. It's kind of like messing with DNA, but it's all good. It's all carbon fiber. It's all wonderful. It's not GMO water. It'll filter the salt out. Accept the future. Bush owns an aquifer. Check this out. Talk about what's so big about water. Yeah, this is what's so big about water. The new water barons, Wall Street mega banks, are buying up the world's water. And this kind of fits hand in hand with this emerging drought in California, which many people believe is artificially created by chemtrails. A disturbing trend in the water sector is accelerating worldwide. The new water barons, the Wall Street banks, and elitist billionaires are buying up water all over the world at an unprecedented pace. Familiar mega banks and investing powerhouses such as Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup, UBS, Deutsche Bank, Credit Suisse, and many others are consolidating their control over water. Wealthy tycoons such as T. Boone Pickens, former President George W. Bush and his family, George H.W. and his family, are investing. Yeah. So what's happening is they're creating droughts around the world so that they can continue to charge you water prices, which will skyrocket. You know that down in certain South American countries, they've had wars over water? I don't follow William Ayers, no. I'm not a communist. Well, I don't need to stock up on water. I moved to one of the largest water aquifers in the entire country, Northwest Washington. I know bottled water is expensive. I could dig a hole 10 feet down in the ground and I could find a stream of water, sand streams they call it, and I could just tap right into it. That's one of the reasons why I moved up here. I realized 20 years ago that the greenhouse gas effect might affect the southern states of California, Oregon, and Nevada, and Arizona, New Mexico. Yeah, if you can dig 9 feet and get fresh water, you win. That's right. I know. Well, that's nice. That's not relevant. Jesus' water to wine routine is not relevant to our show. Well, I just saw it coming. I realized that I needed to get near water. I didn't expect to get so much water, though. And ever since they started spraying chemtrails in the sky with technology that exists, that was developed by Nikola Tesla, working with HAARP, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, they've been able to create a number of conditions, one of which is Washington State is inundated with water. Yet we didn't have a snowpack this year, so we're going to be facing a drought, believe it or not. It's so weird. No snowpack, but we got tons of water and slammed with rain here in Washington State. All right, I have another technology that would be really cool if we could implement this across the country. You know, there's millions of telephone poles in America. And this concept I came up with in 2008 involves using a Savonius windmill and generating electricity on top of every single power pole in America. Anyone near wind, I should say. So this concept would create a lot of jobs. We should be able to build these vertical windmills and install them for right around $1,000 a piece. Unlike the big windmills that T. Boone Pickens is invested in, these things will run at 5-mile-per-hour winds, whereas the big ones take 13-mile-per-hour winds to get going. And this will not kill any birds. It's bird friendly. When a bird gets in it, it spins around and goes, ah, 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 and then flies away. That's an example of a bird nearly dying. Okay, Dave, is there chemistry people can use to reverse contamination from tainted water by chemtrails? Iodine can't be the only answer. All I can say is RO, reverse osmosis. It wastes a lot of water, but it does the job and is cheaper than replacing filters all the time. Well, if it's a crazy idea, why don't you just, think about it for a while and realize that it's not crazy at all. It's completely doable. Just like your mom. Okay. I hate it when people constantly make fun of technologies and brand new ideas, what was it? Einstein said that great spirits will always encounter violent opposition from mediocre minds. Yeah. Adam Lance's house is demolished. Yes, Jeffrey, our giraffe brain. Sorry. Lance's house was demolished. What a waste of a perfectly good house, everybody. This was in the news a couple days ago. Now, why did they demolish the house? Let's see if this says anything. Demolition crews leveled the Connecticut home, leaving only an empty lot. There it is. So apparently they didn't want any evidence whatsoever of a crime that didn't happen. You know, I looked at all of the redacted video and photographs from the Connecticut State Police that took 11 months for them to reveal in a police report, and there wasn't one stitch of blood in any of the pictures of the Lanza house. Isn't that interesting? So if he shot his mother, she didn't bleed. I don't know how he did this, but she didn't bleed, and there was no place where her body was identified. It was completely gone. Only women bleed. Only women bleed. But Nancy Lanza didn't bleed. The Lanzas don't bleed, yeah. And Adam Lance's fingerprints are not on the guns and ammo. I know, I heard about that, 839. So it's suffice to say that the whole Sandy Hook thing was an absolute fraud, false flag operation. Is it fair to say that? Well, I have evidence that that's actually true. There is absolutely no evidence that a crime occurred leading to the death of anybody that year. Check this out. This is a shocker, folks. This is bizarre. FBI says no one was killed in Newtown at Sandy Hook. I'm going to give you a link that'll blow your mind. This is amazing. Here you go. In this link, there's an actual report from the FBI crime statistic, and I'm going to bring that up for you right now. This is just too weird. Okay, we're going to look at the FBI's crime statistics for a little town called Newtown, Connecticut. Here it is right here. This is from 2012. Let's go down to Newtown. And by the way, this is violent crime, number of murders, population, murder, blah, blah, blah. Newtown, 2012. There it is. Newtown. 0 people dead in the town of Newtown in 2012. Nobody died. Right there. FBI confirmed nobody died at that location in Newtown. So it was a complete hoax, right? Sarah will be coming in before 7, I hope, because I'm getting a phone call from the Washington State Small Classroom Association for a joint group call or something. There were 5 forcible rapes in Newtown, yeah. It is spooky, isn't it, when the government lies like this? All to trigger gun control, and it didn't even pass. And now they got egg on their face, they can't answer to anybody, and they outlawed anyone questioning the Connecticut State Police. Yeah, I'm sure they're still there, and you're in a mental hospital, guess 623. He just said the Twin Towers are still there. Newsflash! Lieutenant Vance has been demoted, by the way. He's no longer the lieutenant. He's actually been put on garbage detail or street cop duty. Yeah, they don't want him talking because he kind of bumbles whenever he talks. Another interesting factoid about Sandy Hook is a lot of houses sold for $1 that year in 2012. You'd be surprised how many people bought a house for $1. It was amazing. So they were just giving away houses in that area to keep people zipped up. Zip it up, buddy. Yeah, if you want to talk, we are available, 707 your ATP. I'd buy a dollar house too. Oh yeah, there's numerous dollar houses in Sandy Hook, Newtown area. Oh yeah, they sold right around to 2012, some before and some after the Sandy Hook event. A lot of people have their mortgages wiped out too. Pretty good deal to buy an entire community, huh? Money buys a lot, let me tell you. And you're not allowed to talk to anybody in Newtown about the Sandy Hook event. There's a sign as you go into the town that you cannot discuss it with anybody. I think it's a local offense to do that. I don't know if I'd buy a dollar house in Detroit, frankly. Trulia or Zillow, you could check that out. We have technology that could find a dollar house in Detroit. Let me see. Let's go to Trulia.com. Well, let's be clear. Here's Trulia. See how cool technology is? I'm going to show you how we can save $7 billion a year by using technology like this right here. You know that your assessor's office in your community, on average, your assessor's office charges around $2 million to send little guys in little cars they buy. They buy Priuses, and they come around your house driving and go, "Oh, I see you've done some improvements. We better tax you some more." Well, Realtor.com and Trulia and other sites have tools available right now where you just punch in your square footage of your house, the square footage of your property, and the location of your property, and they spit back your relative value. Now, why would we use county tax assessors across the country when we've got a computer model that'll do it in a second? Rocco lives in Detroit? Wow, that's interesting. Well, let's see if we can find a dollar house in Detroit. All right? Detroit, Michigan. Let's go, baby. Okay. Let's see what I mean, there's got to be a maximum price here. Let's see, maximum. Well, let's put 10,000. Let's see what comes up. This house is for 10,000. This house on McKay Street is $3,900. All right? You could live on McKay Street. 500. I don't see a dollar house yet. This house is on Carlisle. It's got $3,000 on it. Well, let's be clear. There's 4 photos of this house. Apparently, there's no one who wants to go inside the house. Okay. Well, you can't go inside the house for a $3,000 house. But yeah, it's available in Detroit. All right. I won't work at all. I don't have to work. I could buy a house and live in Detroit the rest of my life. I won't have to worry about a thing. Why don't you be a little bit more optimistic, Guantanamo Bay? Oak Harbor is not cheap. No, it's a little more expensive than that. But there's some lots around here for as low as $25,000. You could put a double wide used mobile home on a lot in our community for like 15 grand. For like 45,000, you could live in my town. Well, no, it's not true. Oak Harbor has a little bit more income from the military base. There's people working like teachers, like Sarah. This could be that group call. Okay, Jason's calling. Go ahead, Jason. What's up?
Yeah, Dave, I got a good question for you today. The Saudis bombing Yemen today, so you see the oil prices kind of spiked up. What do you think is going to continue to happen with the oil prices if Saudi Arabia stays involved in Yemen?
Well, first of all, I have a person saying, "What's up with a racist black voice?" We live in America, and it's not a racist black voice. I was just pretending to talk about, properties in Detroit in a tone that is a resemblance of the people that live there. There's not a lot of white people living in Detroit, in case you didn't know. All right, I'm not racist. I was just giving you a little impersonation of how people are in Detroit. I mean, it's just a fact. Okay, well, the situation with the oil. Yeah, we all can do this. It's called freedom of speech. Some of these Democrats come in our show and they don't understand freedom of speech is what this country was built on. Okay, Guantanamo Bay says, "I'm optimistic, David. I just don't want to live in a crack house." Okay, well, we'll take you to Vegas, maybe. Vegas will get you a better place. The situation with Saudi Arabia and the conflicts that they're incurring will ultimately lead to some sort of a disastrous problem for oil. It's a matter of time. And we talked earlier about how oil may be depleted in that region, and they still continue to produce way more than we need. Our country's maxing out of its proven and strategic oil reserves. We don't need any more oil at this incredibly low rate. But what happens when people keep pumping out oil? It destabilizes the price of oil. Now, we could see shutdowns in refineries as a result of what they're doing, which ultimately could create a tremendous shortage of oil. And you could see the price jump to $5-6 a gallon. Not too impossible to say that. You're still a day ahead. There's a lot of poor people in Oak Harbor, believe it or not, guess 124. In fact, I drove by the local food bank yesterday, and it's toward the end of the month. Everybody tapped out of their food stamps, and they're standing out in a line outside of the food bank over at Coopville. So yeah, people are still hurting financially. But this local town is driven by the military mostly, and teachers' salaries, and medical professionals who make lots of money at the hospital while they rip people off. So there's a lot of people that work in this area make good money. But most of us don't. Most of us are kind of living on the edge here. Oak Harbor, by and large, is a discount town. People look for discounts everywhere. As a follower of ATP, you should definitely like black people. Absolutely. I'm not racist. I'm an integrationist. I have gone out of my way I like black people so much, I actually did a blackface video. Just to show you how much admiration I have for black people. Let's go to Las Vegas, Nevada, and see what kind of deals you guys can find right now. In Dry Town, the drought town, Las Vegas, Nevada. I know a lot of you people want to live in Vegas because you know there's jobs at the casinos, right? Are you on still? You dropped off? Okay. We lost our caller. $30,000 should get you something. Yeah. Any other questions? I never make fun of ridicule black people. I've never done that. Jason Andriano. Jason, what's your question, Jason? You want to buy
I got a question for you.
You want to buy a house in Vegas, by any chance? Go ahead.
Oh, okay, yeah. They're cheap out there or what?
You can get a pretty nice house for $30,000. Let me see if I can find you one. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. What's your question?
Now, my question is does Sarah like rough sex?
Real sex? I guess so, yeah. I wouldn't know. Real sex is real sex, yeah. I don't know, why would someone not like real sex? Fake sex? I don't know. Now this looking good. It's a townhouse, my man. 7 photos. Yeah, this is a townhouse in Vegas for $27,500. Go ahead. Tony.
What?
Yes, Tony, go ahead.
Hey.
Yeah, what's your concern?
Okay. Hey, what do you think the next big bubble is, Dave? Like economic bubble?
Well, the next economic bubble are the FAFSA loans. There's $1.1 trillion in FAFSA loans outstanding with a default rate of 13% and climbing.
I don't even know what that is. Could you post a link of what it is?
No, I can't because a FAFSA loan is a student loan, and you need to go to college to know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Obama paid them all off. The student loan bubble, I know about that.
No, he never paid them off at all. He didn't even negotiate a better rate. He basically is sitting on over $1 trillion in outstanding debt. Our country's, waiting to pop.
I looked a lot of that up, and with those, a lot of those people's parents put up their houses for the loan, so that'll cause another housing bubble too, won't it?
It will. You're right. Good point. You know, you're not the dumb guy that people might think you are. You're an intelligent guy, Don Tony. You really are.
Thank you. So are you, man. That's why I like talking with you. It's hard to talk to intelligent people. To find intelligent people to talk to.
Yeah, it is, and he is. Ted Cruz is a puppet for the New World Order. That's why he's able to run, much like Barack Obama. That's why he's born in Calgary. He's still able to run for president of the United States. There's a lot of people that are concerned about the future of our country, like Don Tony, and I'm one of those people too. And I can tell you that if we just sit back on our hands and don't get up and do anything and don't talk to people about a third party, we're basically going to be part of the problem. So that's why I've been doing a show for 6 years, 3 to 4 hours a night, over 6,000 hours of broadcasting. I'm concerned. I know you are. I know a lot of you are concerned. Hang on, Don.
Phone.
Candace Spearman.
To add this caller to your current call, 5.
And told him off the phone.
Okay, go ahead. What's your question? You're on with Don Tony now.
Yeah, I thought you hung up on me, Dave.
No, I didn't hang up on you, Don. You're still up. We've got another caller. Caller, what's your question?
Yeah, the question is, we're talking about oil. There's a glut of oil in the market right now, right? Well, does Sarah like our specs with oil?
You know, I'm not going to take calls from anybody at all. Money markets, by the way, are vulnerable. If you got your money in a money market, we got $26 trillion in money markets right now that could very well go under. $26 trillion is a lot of money. So, yeah, bond markets are probably a little more stable. They're not necessarily secure, but if you want to keep your money someplace safe, probably put it in a safe. Or perhaps in a lockbox, like Al Gore. Keep it in a locked box. I don't have a loan. I don't believe in loans. I don't even have a decent credit rating because I don't believe in loans. Well, let's be clear. Richard? Richard's calling. Richard, you go ahead, Richard. What's up?
Dave, I agree with you. I have no loans. I've had the same car for 13 years.
Wow.
And I don't take on debt.
You're living my life. That's awesome, man. You know how easy this is, folks? You don't have to worry about a bill collector calling you. You just have to, cruise with living a little bit below your means. Thank you.
Fuck my ass.
Something's wrong with his butt? He's been living he's a little too tight between his butt cheeks. When he walks, you can hear like screeching sounds. He sounded like a dick to you? No doubt. The next subprime bubble to burst is auto loans, folks. Boy, has America bought a lot of auto loans. 85% of the cars on the highway are essentially borrowed. All these new cars you see driving on the road, oh yeah. Everyone thinks they're so special. They're borrowed. The next subprime bubble to burst is the auto loans. Wow. Wowie kazowie. Salmi Perez, 32, is still dealing with fallout from his experience with the subprime loan 5 years ago, he told the Post. Officials at Woodside Queens dealership Auto Palace offered him an 8.49% interest on a BMW with a teaser rate of 6% after 6 months. He worked out a financing deal that included monthly payments and traded in an Audi and rolling his payments over. The rate never made it down to 6% since the BMW didn't work properly. So Perez returned it, and the dealer wouldn't give him money back, and he certainly wouldn't give the Audi back. So basically, he's screwed. He's just one of the many people in the country that are screwed when they get an auto loan on a car that doesn't work. I don't need any more credit. I don't plan on borrowing any money. It's only people that borrow money that need credit. I heard that you were you were messing with me. I know, Hoppy the liar. Why? What possible goal would you have to come into the room and do that, Rodney? When you got all these other names I've unbanned. I could tell you were full of it last night. Yeah. So we're going to have to ban Hoppy the liar, everybody. Oh well.
Association, inviting you to join me right now for a telephone town hall. We'll talk about the House education budget and what it means for educator pay and benefits and smaller class sizes. There's also time for taking your questions live. We'll begin shortly, so just stay on the line to join.
You are joining a live conference already in progress. Please be aware that your local phone company may leave your line open for up to 32 seconds after you leave the conference. If you would like to ask the speaker a question, please press 0.
On smaller class sizes and compensation improvements beyond just a COLA. And I know I say this all the time, but we need to all say it. It's not just the COLA alone. It's not enough. So far, we've been good at keeping the pressure on legislators. I'm going to say nearly 3,000 WA members and allies attended back-home meetings with legislatures over the past couple of weeks, and you've sent thousands of postcards and emails to legislatures.
There's a lot of things going on with, I'm going to leave it open in case Sarah does get in here. But Sarah wanted to talk about this. It's very important to her. I seriously want more teachers, smaller class sizes. I definitely think it's the way to go. And I want to reduce the amount of money the administration constantly siphons out of the budget. You know that every single year in America, a classroom, for instance, in Washington gets about $10,900 per student to teach that kid. And in New York, it's even more. Leave my COLA alone. Go ahead and ask a question. I can't really ask it right now. I'm waiting for Sarah to arrive. I told her to get here before 7 and she's not here. I'm a little bit worried. I mean, I told her this call was coming in and she's not here. I never took my shirt off for a video. What do you mean? I only had that one video of me in the fiscal hot tub. That's my video on YouTube where I have a shirt off. Hot tube. My hot tube video. Yes. I can see you. Well, the fact is, when you have more teachers per student ratio, kids learn. It's a simple fact. So I suggest all those administrators be fired, and I would recommend that all that money go into hiring more teachers. Okay, we'll go ahead and ask a question.
In line to ask a speaker a question. After you leave the conference, please wait 30 seconds before making another call.
Tied to test scores, educator pay, the budget, smaller class sizes.
Blah, 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 blah. They won't attack the real question, which is the administrative salaries that are being wasted.
It's a beautiful, sunny and warm evening here in Olympia, so we really appreciate your
We've had overcrowded classrooms throughout the whole life. How many of you had a decent teacher walk up and say, "Little Johnny, do you know what you're talking about?" Or, "Little Judy, can you do your multiplication tables?" I mean, we need that one-on-one touch, that concept. Yeah, it was a hot tub video. It's called Fiscal Hot Tub, and it's on YouTube. Mr. Anderson. I should ask Mr. Anderson about the budget of Zion. I'm listening. I'm getting tired of listening. Oh my gosh, what happened here? Somebody fell apart and peed themselves? Guantanamo Bay, what's going on? Poor Dave is worrying about Sarah. Yeah. Well, she left early this morning. She said, I'm doing breakfast with my friend. And it's like, well, that's nice. I'd like to go out to breakfast one of these days too. Sales tax is something like 8 to 9%, maybe even 10% in Washington. It's about 8% in our area. In some areas it's 10%. I'll give you that link in just a second.
They have 51 Democrats. They will come out with a budget this week, and then the Senate, which is in Republican hands
Okay, here's the story about the student loan bubble. It's about to burst.
At the end of this session, so there's quite a bit of pressure on the legislature. In terms of compensation,
See, the McCreary court case forced
2% raise over the next 2 years.
the state of Washington to deal with the problem of educating people and meeting the demands of and requirements of education, but in no way talked about in raising the rate or the cost of education. And many of these Democrats and Republicans are running around talking about how we have to raise the rate of taxation. Yeah, operator. I'd like to know every classroom in America. Are you there? Hello?
I'm here, yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Every classroom every classroom in Washington gets around $300,000 per classroom. Yet the teachers only get about $50,000 of that money. Where's all the other money going? And why would we add more to the budget to meet and comply with the McCreary ruling? That's my question.
So are you asking why would the state provide more money per
classroom?
if the teachers per classroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the correct. And being there's about a $200,000 to $250,000 per classroom differential here that I can't account for, I'm beginning to wonder if the administrative costs have overtaken the education process, and maybe we're looking in the wrong direction. McCreary shouldn't be about expanding the amount of funding for education. It should be about reallocating the funding that currently exists. That's my question.
Okay.
All right. But thank you.
Yes, and so I'm typing your question, and I want to let you know, as the operator, that there are several questions that have come in, and there's a speaker queue, so I know they're going to take as many questions as they can tonight during the conference. I'm going to put you back to the conference, and should your question come up, you'll speak to it when the moderator calls on your name. I don't have your first name listed. What is that?
It's David. David is my name.
David.
Great.
Okay, and it comes up under Sarah Hart. Is that...
That's correct. Yeah, Sarah Hart was going to be here, but I took the call anyway. I expected to have her here. She should be coming any minute now, and I'll have her call and ask the same question at a later date.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I just wanted to make sure when the moderator calls on you, you know who it is.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks so much for calling, and I'm going to put you back to the conference.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Okay. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Urge your local association to attend.
Okay, a lot of people are talking about education because a lot of kids are not doing real well on the tests. Smoke Break wanted to know how far down the rabbit hole you've gone. Well, I am still in Wonderland, and I'm going to tell you how far down the rabbit hole it goes. Dave, I just tuned in. Okay, you feel better now, Wet Walnut? I'm glad you polished your walnut. David, being a former NSA, Whirlwind says, I can assure you the co-pilot was made a scapegoat in one day because the plane was intentionally destroyed by remote to silence a passenger or passengers in the German Alps. Whirlwind, thank you. That was my suspicion, and that's why I brought up the QSR-11 ship, which is hackable from outside of a plane. And if you're wondering what happened to MH370 and MH17, all those missing planes, and now this one that landed in the Alps and crashed in the Alps. I shouldn't say landed, it crashed in the Alps. Yeah, it's entirely possible they could have remote locked the pilot from getting into the cockpit. You like it when I say cockpit? The call is the Washington State Small Classroom Association. They're putting together a plan to lower the, basically make it more teachers per student in the classroom so we can get smaller class sizes. I'll keep that in the background so I can listen to it. Okay, would you be surprised to find out that Sarah is getting... Oh, how dare you? David being... I can assure the call was, yes, a scapegoat. We established that. Thank you. I just tuned in. Why am I seeing the same chat I just saw about 5 minutes ago? This is weird. I'm a pro. Why you don't co-host anymore? I do. You can co-host with me right now. But nobody goes into my co-host channel at streamup.com/third party. Yeah, we've got I've got a venue for all of you to go on video and co-host with us. But nobody seems to bother checking. Well, I don't have any credit. That's the point. I don't take out loans. I was shocked to find that my credit rating had slipped when I didn't take out any loans for years. I've always paid my bills. I've always been, completely on time on every payment I've ever made. But if you don't take out loans and borrow money, your credit slips. Thank you for the write-in vote, 452. Wow, cool. So you're going to buy some ATP signs? Good. We've got a couple ways to get all kinds of things now. If you go to americasthirdparty.com, go to the store at the top of the page, little store, and click on it. You'll be able to get into our t-shirt section and our sign section, and we've got bumper stickers for $4. And if you don't want to pay anything and just print it out yourself, you can go to americasthirdparty.com/flyers. I'm shooting for class sizes of about 15 students per teacher. I believe that they were borrowing from the future to pay for today here in Washington. Jay Inslee took out $1 billion loan to finance education. This is on the heels of Christine Gregoire, the former governor of Washington, being $572 million short. So what did he do? He borrowed $1 billion. It's completely off the map how these Democrats operate with money. It's okay by me. I'm a little concerned about the gun show loophole. I want instantaneous gun checks. Gun background checks are needed. Now, I support verification. I don't support registration. There is no kook scandal for a third party, .hamash. There's no kook scandal at all. I'm grounded, I'm intelligent, and I'm not in any way mentally ill. It's a funny video, you like it? Good. Well, I don't see her. She's not here for her call-in. Okay, this is her question.
I was just curious of the arguments that are against it. I mean, what are the arguments that are being made to say basically that's just silly?
Silly to tie teacher pay to student test scores, you mean? Yes. Okay, Rod, go ahead.
The argument we make against it is that basically there is absolutely no research to support it. And if this is supposedly in Olympia, politicians are making their decisions based on data and research and good information and not just political whim. So our argument is, and our response has been, there is absolutely no research to support this.
Great. Thank you, Rod. Next, we have a question from Kevin. Kevin, you have a question about whether teacher pay or educator pay is part of the McCleary decision. Kevin, can you ask the question? Go ahead.
That actually is just my question. Cleary decision said there needs to be ample funding for K-12. Does any of that address teacher pay at all?
Absolutely. This is Cam, and yes, it does. And in fact, it also said, one of the judges pointed out that there is nothing more basic than pay. So yes, absolutely, it covered that.
All right, great, thank you. And remember, dial 0 if you'd like to ask a question of Kim or Rod, and we'll try to get you through. And how about going back to the issue of Initiative 1351? I know a lot of people have had questions about whether that's part of basic education under McCleary, and what exactly
my question is not quite the same.
Might do with that one, Rod.
With 1351, we think they'll attempt to amend it. We don't think
all right, so there is no such thing as a gun show loophole, Imbroglio said. And frankly, I think that we have the technology to actually improve the instantaneous check process through the system we currently are using. And in case you haven't checked it out, we have a system in play right now in America. that very well could provide all of the answers we are looking for. It's called the NICS process.
In 1968, President Lyndon Johnson enacted the Gun Control Act in response to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Robert F. Kennedy. In 1993, as an amendment to the Gun Control Act, President Clinton signed the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act, otherwise known as the Brady Act, named after James Brady, who suffered a near-fatal head injury during the 1981 assassination attempt on President Reagan. As a result, the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, or the NICS, was established to determine whether or not the transfer of a firearm would violate state or federal law. The Federal Bureau of Investigation implemented the NICS on November 30th, 1998.
Okay, 1998 they put it together. So between 1998 and today, we should have an instantaneous check system that anybody could use at a gun show. I've already delivered my question. I don't have to practice it. Well, the link is streamup.com. Streamup.com/third party. It's that simple. Streamup.com/third party. I can't post it because Vaughn will not let me post it. It'll block out. You know, this McCreary decision is actually a government problem that involves dealing with existing funds. There's no stipulation that we have to expand the funding or education system, which is already giving around $300,000 per classroom. When the teacher gets $50,000, where's the extra $250,000 going? It's a simple question.
Great. Well, here's another question from Dennis.
Dennis. Okay, here's passenger number 1 that could have been targeted hit on Germanwings Airlines. Spain, Adriana Falgara, the wife of a Catalan politician, worked for a fashion company, was going to Germany for business. Her husband, Luis Arjunca, is a high-ranking member of the Esquerra Republicana, or ERC, a party that has been leading the drive for Catalonia to secede from Spain. That's a possibility, Whirlwind. Well, thank you. I look pretty athletic. I work out all the time. Well, it's right over there. You just go to streamup.com/third party. It's not that hard to find. But type in HTTPS. That might be your problem. And I can't post it here because it won't go in there. See? Your DJ Bad Boy said it won't pop in. We got 6 viewers over there right now. Some of you might want to hook up your camera and participate. Hi, Sarah. I think she's in. Unless that's a burglar who's come into the house and unbeknownst to me. Wait a second, I'm checking my camera. Oh, no, it's not a burglar, it's her. The problem is that when it's written into Brady law that records of the background checks were to be destroyed, but the FBI still continues to archive the names of people buying guns until this day. Well, we need to correct that because there's no need for the FBI to archive gun ownership. There's nothing written into the laws suggesting that the American people need to reveal who is simply using their Second Amendment right. It's absurd. Why would they have access to that information? But you're right, Imbroglio, they do. Yep. If you're trying to lose weight, the best thing that you can do is, instead of eating, do deep knee bends. Seriously. And then you'll lose your appetite. I should do that right now, just to get off this chair and start working out.
Their per diem is also going up. I think it goes up to $120 a day. So it's not just that they're getting 11.2.
I'm kind of hungry. I've been starving all day long to eat. You know, it's like. But when you work out, you start to realize you're getting fat just eating. So you need to work out. So just do some deep knee bends every time you want a hamburger.
And then if you're bargaining this year, there's another opportunity at the bargaining table to go to the bargaining table.
I have like a modified deep knee bend where I actually use my arms. It's called the chairlift. You can catch my video, my workout video on YouTube.
Related question about
It's called. It's not called Taibo. It's called Taiwananbo.
Ask your question about teacher salaries and how they relate to the McCleary decision, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. I work at Everett, which is, we bargain for our track salary. We bargain pretty strong. Thank you, Kim.
Sarah's here.
And we were.
I believe that the gold standard is unachievable at this point. We're too far off the grid with the printing of money. Our country no longer has a.
There's not enough gold to.
Not enough gold
to trade.
To trade. Okay, I got him on the phone. I put it together at chance.
Oh, thank you for taking that. You don't want to just take that? No.
You can, but the situation is, I said with 300,000 per classroom right now, why does the McCreary decision have to go toward more funding? Why can't we just reallocate the funding we have and provide more teachers? Surely the administration cost is overtaking the salaries. That's my argument. It's restructuring, reapportionment of the existing funds we have. It's not about charging more to get small class sizes. It's about reapportioning the funds so that we properly give the people that need the money, like more teachers. And this goes hand in hand with not in any way engaging in an increased budget, which obviously Washington State is $90 billion in debt now, up from $16 billion just 6 years ago. So you can see that all these Democrats gather together and try to just jack up the budget of their state. And this is true in California and Oregon and New York and all the other democratically led states continually rob from the taxpayers to continue financing a dead horse.
Thank you, Rod. That was a great question from Nick and Everett. And next, I think we have a question for Kim. Valerie Espinoza.
They'll probably not even take my question because it's too pointed. It's too right at their face. Well, those with more education get paid more. That's not the way it should be. We shouldn't have a caste society formed here.
Valerie, can you go ahead and ask your question?
Thanks for making it in.
So I was wondering, I'm listening in and I'm hearing a lot of.
Well, I should have a hot dinner prepared for Sarah. I'd make her frozen dinners that she can throw in the microwave. That's a way of saving money. And thank God I've got that technology because, I don't want to cook at the drop of a hat. I'm not exactly a wife, I'm a guy who just likes to cook. So California has since the mid-90s mandatory background checks on all firearms transfers, commercial and private, yet has done nothing to stop criminal acquisition of guns. Imbroglio, thank you. As you know, guys, I am a strong supporter of your Second Amendment right to bear arms. I in no way want to make you register your weapons. But I do want to make sure that people who are mentally unstable and want to kill people, or who have killed people, who have criminal capital offenses in their record, should not get guns unless they go through illegal means. Well, I can't cook. I'm just an incredible chef. Cooking is debasing to me. Cooking itself is not what I do. I'm a magical infuser of taste. I'm a taste infuser. Cooking is like a mundane word you would describe somebody flipping a hamburger. I create a majestic piece that is delectable. It's not quite like cooking.
So thank you so much for that question.
All right, great. Thank you. We have one more question from Gail in Puyallup that relates to evaluation.
Well, becoming an administrator is becoming the problem. But Sarah would be like someday to study, to become a principal. She could become a principal. You could take this offline. I'm going to go ahead and. David, Sarah, and David, why has Scruffy shuffled you to the end of the People tab? I don't know. He's having a hard time managing a lot of our shows. Because we got so many viewers, 410, we're not sure why. And I'm not openly posting links to other locations, but I did tell people that you can go over to StreamUp and hang out. You guys who want to try StreamUp can try to get in there and actually... Sorry, I lost you there. Black screen. Here we go. Yeah, you can get in there and actually try to say hi. You could actually say hi. Did they really? So there's no guest cams? I don't know. There should be cams available to you. Hello, Multi-Tool. So Scruffy does the shuffling, not Mark? Well, that's a little strange. If someone has deemed through due process unsuitable for ownership of firearms, I agree, but everything else is prior restraint. No, I'm sure they blacklisted my question. I'm sorry they view me the same way Oak Harbor politicians view me. Because I'm not a moneyed-backed candidate and I'm not a career politician, they're not going to take my calls. And that's my point. Our whole system is completely corrupted. When you can buy political favors and political legislation with money, that undermines the very essence of what this country was founded on. I told you the reason why Sarah's name is on the phone is because she bought the Magic Jack. The Glenn's Room video on YouTube is funny only because I'm hilarious. I'm really good. And he had no right to do that, and he's going to be prosecuted someday for doing it. So I would urge you to tell Glenn to pull that off the internet soon, or he could face some serious prosecution. He didn't say in the video that you're being recorded. And in that fact, I have a copy of it. I can use it against him. Well, I could change my name to whatever on Magic Jack, but that's not the point, Giraffe Brain. I really don't mind Sarah's name being on the phone. It's irrelevant. I don't have links to Glenn's video, no. I know. And she said, oh, block this call. I know, I heard that too, Les. I could tell that she felt like I was a little too aggressive in my tone. Whenever a person is as clear and concise as I am in a conversation, it intimidates these people that just sit there and answer phones. They can't really... The grounds I can sue him is the fact that he recorded my video, played it back, and it wasn't a video, it was an audio call that he recorded without telling me I was being recorded. You see what I'm saying? You can't do that to people, and you can't play the recording back without telling them they're being recorded. I speak proper English. I should have just said, hola, I'd like to know more about the small class sizes.
Randy asked, how would you control government spending?
Well, we need to earmark everything with red tag and yellow tags. The green tags are a given, but red tags and yellow tags are a starting point. And then we'd go into each congressman's office with C-SPAN and develop a live, real-time, like a reality show, and we confront every congressman about the yellow tag and red tag items that are on the list. And we'll have the team of forensic auditors at the Government Accounting Office do the red tagging and yellow tagging. Okay? No, it wasn't a broadcast. It was a private phone call that he made to me.
Yeah, he thought it was a private phone call, too.
Yeah, I thought it was a private phone call, and when he recorded it, he violated my release. So he's open to a lawsuit, and I think people should make him aware of that fact, because we could pretty much turn him into a vegetable. Not physically, of course, but he'd probably be asking his mom for a soda or something every few minutes.
He would have let me ask the question if I was here on time. It's my fault for not being here on time.
Yeah, it's okay. I asked the question, they dumped us out of the call. Maybe a carrot, like Carrot Top. He could be a live Vegas act. Okay, this is Sarah. I want you to introduce you to one of my favorite people in the world of all times, if not my favorite person. And she's here to talk about you and us and what we're all about. Helping American people. I know, it's a fraud. And the fact that I revealed the fact that $300,000 goes to every classroom and then $250,000 is kind of like not accounted for. They don't want to talk about the details. You see, the devil is in the details. Now, tonight we were talking about technology, and we haven't really brought in a couple of technology sites that came up last night. Speaking of technology, my delicious.com site was down in the evening, and I couldn't...
Your delicious site.
Yeah, I couldn't get... But I have blog notes of a couple sites that we saved last night. Let me see. Origin of AIDS. Let's see. Scientists... Oh, here we go. Scientists delete HIV virus from... Thanks.
Human DNA.
From the human DNA, yeah. Isn't that
Maybe
cool?
Take it over there.
Yeah, well.
That's cool. Whatever.
Okay. Let me just do this. I'll put this over there. Go here. Paste and go. This is a brand new technology that's being developed to eliminate the AIDS virus piece by piece from human DNA. Let me see if I can bring that up on the screen, and then I can check out and leave the picture of that behind me. There you go. Okay, and then I'm going to take down the seawater pipeline temporarily, and you can talk to Sarah about what that's all about.
So Sarah can read to you.
Something like that, yeah. Oh, and we have to control that blur factor. I think I didn't set the blur on there. Let me go here. Hang on. There we go. All right, we're back up and running.
I'm just going to close those tabs. I don't need those.
The student loan bubble is starting to burst. Let me put that over there too. This is another story that came up. I wanted to give people a reference to that because Don Tony asked about that. Third party's over there. There we go. Thank you very much. I'll be right back.
No, I accidentally went and hung out with a friend after. So I went and hung out with a friend, and you know some of those friends that you have, and they're like, you think you're talking to them for 30 minutes, and it's like been 2 hours. Yeah, it was one of those friends. It was like, oh, I'll stop by for like 30 minutes. It's like, next thing you know, it's 2 hours has gone by. Where did that go? Where did that time go? Anyway, I have a couple friends like that. Other friends, it's like, tick tock, tick tock. Okay. But yeah, it's good to socialize. Yes, I think you're right. A president should be able to talk to anyone and have good social skills. You know, that's very important. The typical class size is about 25, 28, 27, 27. No, I don't have any boyfriends. Have you heard the David for President song? No, I haven't. Probably so, 7906. You just drank half a pot of coffee yourself? Wow. I have watched season 1 and 2 of House of Cards on Netflix. I have not yet seen season 3. This is a David for President song. Okay. Yeah, season 2 was good. Yeah, I liked how that ended.
They are president! They were president!
Cha. Cha. That's
they were president!
4 teachers in 1 year? Why, Randy?
Were president!
So why did your son have 4 different teachers in 1 year, or was he in middle school at the time?
Cha. They were president! They were president!
So it happened at your school? Like they just randomly assigned him a different teacher every 4 months? Oh, was this Reverend B's theme song? Okay, sorry, I didn't know it. Cha. I know. Some students don't do their homework anymore. Cha. Shrek, thanks for letting me know. You'll have to let David know. Researchers eliminate the HIV virus from cultured human cells. Scientists use a DNA snipping enzyme called Cas9 to cut out the virus. This cell's gene repair machinery then takes over, soldering the loose ends of the genome back together, resulting in a virus-free cell. The process could also be a cure for other latent infections, researchers say, like cancer. Scissor fight. What? Somebody's been running roughshod over the Constitution since its first day. I take it you're talking about Obama. Obama's bringing the Iran deal to the United Nations, not Congress. Oh. Cha. Wow, I didn't know that about HIV. Once HIV conquers the human cell, it will stay there forever. It inserts its deadly genome permanently into its victim's DNA, forcing them to require medical treatment for the rest of their life. Wow. And now, for the first time, researchers in Philadelphia have found a way to completely delete HIV from human cells by snipping them out. The thing is, though, we don't weed out students at in public education 964. They do that in other countries, but we don't do that here in the United States of America. And instead, that now they want to weed out teachers rather than weeding out the students. It's pretty interesting. And then, the biggest indicator of academic success is parental support. And if the parents aren't making their children do homework, then, it's not going to get done.
What was that? The noise in the background? Some weird thing?
It was the Day for President song. You haven't heard that?
No, I haven't. Oh, wow.
Day for President.
Cool. I love it.
Day for President.
Who created it? Who made that? Who made that?
New Leaf.
New Leaf made that? That's awesome, dude. Double Dutch business. Double Dutch Dave. Thank you, man. Dave, you funky white boy. Funky Comedina.
Thanks, Brewman. I finally opened it.
Thanks, New Leaf. That's awesome. I'm going to record that.
Voters know that economic recovery is fake. These states will take your license if for not paying student loans back. And the student loan bubble is bursting. Legislators are fighting such rules in several states. They revoked driver's licenses, not just professional licenses, but driver's licenses when people fall severely behind on their student loan payments. Montana, they're considering a bill in March to repeal that statute. Wow. And also Iowa, but it's stalled in the Senate because of some procedural obstacle. The little-known laws exist in at least 22 states and have been on the books in some states as far back as 1900. Not 1990. Advocates for repealing them say they have real consequences for people who cannot make a dent in their student debt. It's the most inappropriate consequence because you're taking away their ability to eventually pay back their loans. The driver's licenses of people for default. By 2012, Iowa has paid their student debt. 2 years ago, at least in Iowa, but not because the policy changed. The Iowa College Student Aid Commission, which once collected federal loans in the state, reserved the suspensions and stopped revoking licenses in 2012 because the commission transferred its student loan portfolio to the Great Lakes Higher Education Corporation, a Wisconsin guarantee agency. So, and I guess Wisconsin doesn't do that. Debt collectors say that the laws have been invaluable tools for extracting long overdue payments, and they often stop short of issuing the most severe consequences for borrowers. Wow. They say they try to get borrowers to enroll in repayment plans that tie payments to their income level before threatening them with the loss of their license. They said the ability to revoke licenses help generate more than $200,000 in debt collections every year. How much money are they paying the people, the debt collectors, though? Are they paying that $200,000 or more? So you're against the idea of taxing drivers for every mile driven? The idea is like, here's the thing about the taxing drivers for miles being driven. As we have more alternative fuels, we can move toward electric vehicles, things of that nature, then you're going to have more people who are not using gasoline, but still using and abusing the roadways because they're still utilizing vehicles that travel on those roadways through, say, their electric vehicles. And right now, drivers are taxed. That's why your gasoline costs so much. A lot of the reason is because a lot of that is through the taxation. They would like a system that might be fair for all people regardless of what kind of fuel they use to pay for the roadways that they use. So one proposal is to, instead of having it like you just, as you put in gas into your tank, is pay a tax when you go register your vehicle to pay for your road. And so they would have you, they would go and calculate your mileage every year. I think hybrids definitely will fly, and they already are 964.
Many people are concerned about this taxing every mile, which the Democrats, it's traders and corporate cronies that we've got in Washington and in Washington state are really the problem. They keep replicating, just like bad corporate contracts keep replicating in our country. Okay. The Humanzi story is coming up. Yeah.
I haven't done much training, no, Shrek.
So 15% of the cattle in this country are infected with bovine leukemia virus. Wow, that's too bad. So don't eat beef? Is that what you're saying? Well, are you just cutting and pasting? Because it's taking up a lot of chat, Whirlwind. Yeah, could you not do that? It's just excessive. Thank you. Earthware. Yeah, thank you. Wiki cables confirm existence of extraterrestrial life. Excuse me, but WikiLeaks was compromised by the government.
We are one.
When Julian Assange was viable, they basically took over the operation. So I don't trust that. I still don't believe in aliens. Sarah believes that aliens exist, but I can't jump on that bandwagon.
Yet you're the one that said that you thought that crop circles couldn't be formed by humans.
Yes, that's correct. I believe.
So what do you think they're formed by? Like just magnetic shifts in the earth?
They are being made by artificial intelligence, Sarah.
Oh, that's not an alien life form?
No, it is not. It was human created.
Yes. Oh, wow. David. Big move.
That is correct. All alien, android, and cybernetic organisms have the ability to take over the Earth, just like aliens.
intelligent human beings made the crop circles.
That is entirely possible. Yeah, I mean, we've got the ability to have these floating. You've seen Amazon.com, the Prime delivery system they talk about. Let's show that for everybody, okay? I've actually got Google's plan too, but Amazon's is good. Well, let's be clear. You want to get that?
No.
Check this out.
Hello, Terry. Hello. You're going to be broadcasted and recorded. You're welcome. Okay.
Who's on the line? Terry? Hi, Terry.
Hi. Hey, Dave.
Yeah, we're showing you the Amazon delivery system.
Crop circle.
I don't trust this. This person may be saying disparaging things.
What about the crop circle?
A lot of bad calls earlier. Yeah, we're not going to take this call, Terry. Thanks. Yeah, they said some bad things. They said that you liked real sex. And I was going, well, yeah, doesn't everybody? I mean, that's just weird. Who wants fake sex? So look at this, delivering porn to your front door. Why? When you can get it online for free? I mean, I don't get it. What is this?
That wasn't that.
What?
It could have been a new toy for this
A
child.
sex toy? Oh, I'm sorry. We're not allowed to show kids are not allowed on the screen. Okay, so this is the deal. If that could get you what you want and you're willing to pay for it, is there a problem? I agree that technology is fine. That's fine. Is lying. Do you agree? Did the guy look homo? You could tell.
I'm just saying, why would they need a camera to navigate something? I mean, like, you can plug in things in and, plug in an address. Theoretically, in a self-driving car, you could plug in an address from one point to the other, and it could go there without you needing to, like, have a camera for you to monitor it.
You're absolutely right. Sarah is correct. I stand corrected. This is true.
I kind of believe that who is in charge of the flight, the FAA, kind of has made a critical error. I agree with David that if a drone is being used for surveillance purposes, so if a drone has any kind of camera connected to it, then that drone should be within eyeshot of the pilots,
right?
Unless it's being used by the military, because obviously the military fly surveillance drones overseas and have the pilots in Las Vegas who they can't see the plane because it's halfway around the world.
So they need to use Videonics to sometimes fly these things. That would be the only need for it.
But I don't see why. I personally think, I mean, yes, it should have maybe a tracking device on it.
Yeah.
But other than that, really, I mean, why, like, Amazon can't now use these drones for what they're just wanted to use them for, because now the FAA has said, oh, the drones have to be within eyeshot of the pilot. Well, if I wanted to create like an Amazon product, or I wanted to ship a product to someone 5 miles away, and the drone's perfectly capable of flying that far because it has it's just capable. It has the battery life or whatever, and flying back. And it was you could pre-program it. Why? It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't need any cameras on it, because then it wouldn't be used for surveillance purposes.
Right.
And it wouldn't be looking into anybody's houses. No cameras, no microphones, no recording devices, and just let it deliver packages.
Okay.
And I don't think that those should have to be, so far from the pilot's exposure. But anyway, that's just my own personal opinion.
I tend to agree. I just don't want surveillance to be going on. I don't want commercial surveillance. I don't want private detectives being able to use drones to survey people.
Why are we looking at this person?
Just checking to see who this person is. Martin, Mog Monster, saw a movie with this guy. It was epic. Yeah.
Okay.
There's some new actors popping up on the scene. Mog Monster was just sharing us a link. Okay.
Well, maybe it will, but I think that they could go track. No, I think that if you allow cameras to be on them, 2380, then you have surveillance issues. Then you have the issues of the privacy of people being affected. So there should be no cameras or microphones on these drones.
That's my point,
if
too.
If there were no cameras or microphones on them, then they should be able to be used for delivery purposes.
I agree.
But
I've always felt that way.
If there are cameras on there, then what's to say, oh, they're not going to hang around somebody's house, look into their bedroom window to see somebody, having some fun that maybe they don't want to share with the world.
Exactly.
Or, maybe they want to have a private conversation, that they don't want to share with the world. So they shouldn't, I don't think the cameras are needed for navigation. Monkey Times 420 or any of you. I don't think that the cameras are needed for navigation. And if the cameras are needed for navigation, then they shouldn't be using drones.
We could actually have a high contrast navigation system that strictly uses shadows.
Well,
as opposed to video.
It can use motion sensors. It can use all kinds of sensors, but no cameras.
Right, no cameras. But what about shadows? Like looking at spatial positioning and
Well, I'm not talking about reasonable expectation of privacy in public. 9503. I'm talking about a reasonable expectation of privacy in the privacy of one's own home. If you have a drone flying by my house that can see into my windows, where I have a reasonable expectation of privacy, then that's an issue.
It's definitely an issue for me. I don't want to be seen when I'm out in my swim spa with my beautiful physique and seen from a sky shot, and then somebody takes a picture, and pretty soon I'm all over the news. I'm being Instagrammed across the social networks. Remember what happened to Geraldo Rivera when he did that little Carlos thing? Carlos
Not
Danger?
in my house. The mailman can't see or hear anything a drone camera can see because my mailbox is way out by my curb. So there's no reason for the mailman to even be on my property. The only person that can theoretically look into my house is supposedly the auditor who claims he has jurisdiction. But anyway.
Surrender to higher thoughts. The thing about, somebody said, Dave, I have a porn addiction. What can I do? Surrender to higher thoughts. Start to see yourself as an intelligent being, as opposed to a porn addict. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I do understand that in many instances, mailmen can deliver packages straight to your door. And I also disagree. I think that mailmen looking in, like what happened in Texas, and he saw something that he shouldn't have, then I really think that was an issue that should never have gone to the courts. Yeah. Fortunately, I believe that the Supreme Court ruled that these people had a expectation of privacy in their own home. So
okay, somebody just said, David, Sarah looks like Lorde. And I was like, well, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, this is the singer Lorde. Mm-hmm. I'm just bringing technology in for you. I think we are kind of in a situation where we have I wanted to look at that, so I did that for them. Let me go back to autofocus. 2. Let me just... Okay, good. I wanted you in crystal clear perspective. There you go.
It's kind of scary, Wet Walnut. But
yeah, I don't want that type of invasion.
That's what an auditor told me.
They did?
I disagree with that, but...
Yeah. David, this is a slippery slope. This man was his home naked. Okay. Standing naked in the doorway. It's a slippery slope. Let's take a look. Is a drone longer than a 767 plane? Really? I didn't know that. Oh, he was in his front door, naked in order to get counseling. Nude neighbor speaks out. I don't think that's relevant to our show. I'd rather look at a drone, a 767 size drone. That's more interesting. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Well, I understand.
Efficiently. So, I mean, unless we have to have all these, they would have to hire all these pilots, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. You don't think young people need jobs working with video cameras and video games?
No.
What about Xbox 360 users?
And I don't think that. I think that you should be able to program a drone, and the drone should just be able to fly to that location, that destination, and fly back.
Yeah, that's exactly what should be done. I agree.
And then it should have on it a homing device that, you know, it sends a signal, just like a airline does right now, where, you know, the airline can see there's a drone there. Okay.
What about the children? And what about the children? And what about the damage that these drones could cause? And what about the possibility that that somebody could shoot one down with a rock? You know, somebody said earlier.
Then they go out and search for the drones, and they find the drones that people have been shooting down.
Okay. So we're going to be moving forward with robotic technology. We're embracing the future.
Close enough, monkey times. Yes, you can give GPS coordinates for anywhere on Earth.
Yeah, technically you can have a GPS-based system, and you don't even need a video camera. So we've established that. And I think today's meeting was really good for that reason, because for the longest time I was struggling with how to digest this concept of drones.
Actually, it's the opposite way around, 4086.
Drones are good.
Armed drones that were currently used in the military battlefield have been the gateway to delivery drones.
Yes.
Amazon would not be looking at drones for delivery if they didn't know that drones are being used currently in Iraq and Afghanistan and all over the world. And by pilots that aren't in visible eye contact of the drones, mind you.
Right. Futures tumble as Yemen war starts, oil, gold, and surges. Basically, oil's moving up rapidly right now in the market.
No,
I want everyone to know that.
I still disagree. I still don't think cameras are needed, 955. The terrain does not change that dramatically. If you're talking about weather conditions, yes, but terrain, land, it's going to move suddenly. The only time terrain changes is when an earthquake happens.
Right. So this is what's happening in the big picture. Major war breaking out in Yemen. You okay?
No.
Well,
yes,
you can have,
I'm okay.
You know, it's not that big of a deal for me. You know?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. I'm good with it.
Anyway.
I'm also of the belief that if war does break out in Yemen, oil and gold will surge. So I agree with that too.
If a war breaks out in Yemen, oil and gold will surge.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, if you'd like, we can read more about it in this article. It says right here that in a somewhat surprising turn of events, this morning futures reaction to last night's shocking start of a completely unexpected Yemen proxy war, which has seen an alliance of Gulf state launch an air and soon land war against Yemen. The rebels, the Houthi rebels, is what one could expect, down and down big. This is surprising because on previous occasions, one would expect the New York Fed or its pet hedge fund Citadel to aggressively buy ES to prevent a slide. Something has changed. And for the BTF deers, that something may be very fatal with the E-mini rapidly approaching a one-handle yet again. You see why these people have absolutely nothing to say to real people in life?
Because people don't understand.
They can't understand a word they're saying.
People do not understand acronyms.
Right.
You need to spell out acronyms for the average reader.
They do, and I'm not going to do that because I'm just wasting my time reading their prognosis.
Because you don't know the acronyms because they don't write the acronyms in their article.
Right, exactly.
I don't know the acronyms either.
So, you know, for me to stand here and read the future stock information to say it other than that oil and gold is surging, that's easier than saying all those little acronyms.
Okay, I understand, but I just don't understand why I could understand futures are tumbling because, and then I think it's I think it's two separate statements. Can you please get that off the screen and ban that person?
Sure.
Thank you.
It's good you acknowledge that, though. That's great. That way we acknowledge things that happen in front of our eyes, and we just, you know, basically answered everything that happens on the screen.
Well, I think it's two separate statements. I think futures are tumbling, and oil and gold are surging. I don't think oil and gold are surging because the Yemeni war, necessarily, but I think futures are tumbling because of the Yemeni war.
Thank you. Whew. Yeah, don't go to those virus pages, screen hijackers. That people have been known to see bad things on those sites. Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, 4086.
Well, she wants to be my vice president. Yeah, I agree. And I'm not disputing anything we're saying tonight. I just think that Sarah's very concerned about various things going on in the world, and she's very passionate about those things.
Is that a?
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I like that. I like that quality about you. You seem more presidential to people when you are passionate about things like that. It's really kind of amazing. When I first met Sarah, she was a person that we'd gone to a kind of a community meeting in her neighborhood, and she was very forthright. It's like she can turn it on with a flip of a switch. I like that.
I'm usually very, very polite. I'm very, easygoing, but when I have certain things I believe in, then
Our mailman doesn't go to our door. She just explained that to you.
Our mailman does not deliver packages to my door. I already explained that to you.
Just ignore it. He's an idiot. He's a nitpicker. He's the Nazi.
Exactly.
Stand your ground. That's right. So what I'm thinking is I'm embracing technology. I feel good about the idea of drones delivering packages, but I'm not keen on violating privacy.
So here's my issue, Monkey Times. I believe that there's two things with drones. I believe that any drone with a camera operating should have the pilot of the drone that has the camera should be an eyesight of the drone, which is actually what the FAA just recently said. Right. They said that any drone that operates commercially, the pilot should be an eyesight of the drone. Okay. So whoever's operating, remote control operating, that drone can see the drone and can make sure it's not hitting anything or anything like that. So that issue, like the FAA says, I think should only apply to drones with cameras and or with microphones.
Yeah.
However, I think that when it comes to drones that are, you're right, Monkey Times, you're talking about things that are non-commercial.
What about yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. I believe that drones that do not have cameras or microphones on them could potentially not have that issue where the pilot has to always watch them. And that way, the other issue is that, so you have a drone, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's interfering with things, then people can say somewhere the person has to be watching the drone. So the drone, if you can see the drone, you should be able to see the pilot, right? And go after him and be like, hey, what are you doing with this drone, man?
But, I hate to say it, but this drone discussion is droning on and on. Literally. It's gone on for, 10, 15 minutes? I mean, have we worked through the drone issue completely? Because I think I'm done with it. Are we to spend more time on drones? Because if you missed any of the conversation, it is being translated by this known capital offender in South Africa, who happened to be the official translator for the Nelson Mandela event that Barack Obama attended. He stood right next to the president. It was a guy who did a fake impersonation of a sign reading. Sarah was so demonstrative with her hands that I couldn't help but pull that up. Sorry. But yeah, I think I'm clear. I can move on to another type of technology. Let's talk about robots, okay? And the possibility of a RoboCop arriving at our front door in the near future, okay? I hate to bring it up, but robots are perhaps more invasive, more dangerous. Yes, there's definitely going to be robot drones. Thank you. Don't stop the drone conversation because that's good. But let's look at the type of defense robots that are being issued right now. It's just crazy. We've got an exoskeleton coming out of Lockheed Martin. This will very well turn into autonomous hydrogen-packed drone, or rather robot technology. So look at this exoskeleton. This is 10-year-old technology, folks. Can you imagine how far they are going? You look at that.
The Hulk is an anthropomorphic exoskeleton which mimics the human form. It provides extra support that enables a person to carry more weight than they normally could. Exoskeleton technologies are considered part of the robotics field. If you want to think about them as wearable robots, that's pretty accurate. They sense what the user wants to do, where the user wants to go, it mimics the motion.
All right, so these things are going to be autonomous on their own. Is there something, blurred, or is Sarah blurred at all, or is it my eyes? Because it seems like there's a camera issue with the blur. I don't know.
I don't know. I think I'm really bright.
Yeah. They're going to work. Those are going to work the same way as the Segway does. Yeah, businessman. But what about the actual robots they're building with the exoskeleton? Because the exoskeletons are completely autonomous. They can actually get up and walk around. Not only are they assists, but there's another plan to put hydrogen packs on every one of them and make them roam around and engage in human detection. Possibility of illegal detection of foreign substances under U.S. Social Security Act or something like that. Here's a new security already active at Microsoft. Excellent. Thank you. Giraffe Brain has a security device being used at Microsoft.
Security robots might be a reality faster than you think. There are currently the K5 300-pound, 5-foot-tall computerized security guards roaming around in Silicon Valley. We have a short video of how that looks.
Sentry mode activated. Target acquired.
That's going. Yep, Microsoft.
Okay, wow. We're just kidding. That was a joke, but here is what it really is.
Come quietly or there will be trouble. Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Wow.
All right, okay, that was also a joke. Here is the real video.
Okay, so this is a kind of a joke about a joke, which is not funny. Is that what's happening? Okay, I was wondering. It was a joke about a joke that wasn't funny. Yeah, well, I'm sure that Microsoft is wasting a lot of money doing that. That's nice. It's like a space robot from Lost in Space. Caution, Will Robinson. William, no, Will. Caution. That kind of thing, yeah. So, danger. I don't really think it's a problem to have robots. I'm actually looking forward to robotic encounters. I really am. I don't believe Bill Gates is as smart as you guys think he is. He didn't write any of the code that went into the computer program we know as Windows, which doesn't work right. So technically he was smart enough not to write the code that doesn't work right. He just ordered other guys to do it and made a lot of money. So it's nice to know that at least he didn't write the code, you know. So you're right, he's a little bit smarter than the guys who created the code.
What about this?
I guess somebody was psychic. They said, Dave wants to have robot sex. What I said, yeah, I can embrace robots. You knew I was thinking about that. I don't think silicon could get anywhere near like human contact. And even with a sensor pad that you lay on top of you or you feel something next to you, which is brand new, going to be out in like a couple of years, virtual remote view, the ability to actually do a virtual reality game with a sensor pad on your body. That's very real. That could very well happen. But it may not feel like human flesh. No, Paul Allen isn't. No, it's actually a bunch of heavily juiced up people who are totally juiced up coders that created the heap of bad code we know as Windows. It's really a tragedy to see how fast Windows was created because the technology only stayed ahead of everyone because of the expansion of the memory and the cheaping or the lowering cost of the memory sticks that go into all of our computers. If we hadn't had that simultaneously, Windows could not have stood on its own. There were a lot of other operating systems that were way more efficient and much cleaner code. For instance, even the Amiga program had a very simple plan that actually executed quickly on 25 megahertz. And these computers we're running now are like a gigahertz or more. So it's amazing that without that speed and the enhanced memory, Microsoft never would have been who they are today. And the government pushed Microsoft. I walked into a computer company called Micron Computers in Buena Park in 1988 and talked to a guy who was absolutely at his wit's end. And he was the director of production. He said he just got an order from the government for 15,000 of these PC clones that he had to put a Windows operating system in. So Bill Gates really profited early from the government purchases of all that stuff. And Ballmer was lucky because he went to Harvard with Gates and Allen. So Steve Ballmer got in the back door and got billions of dollars as a just simply from having a friend. Story about Ballmer is that when he was CEO of Microsoft, he actually had a lady from Forbes magazine come by and interview him, and he saw that she had an Apple, and he took the entire Apple computer and grabbed it out of his hands and threw it to the ground, crashed into a million pieces, like a little child. He was having a little temper tantrum. All right.
I was going to play that video.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll bring it back.
It's a robot. It's pretty interesting if you read their thing. It's called the Life Dot Project, and they actually do work with intelligent, artificial intelligence and social. It's a social.
Oh, I thought she was just one of those typical government workers sitting there looking like a robot. Okay, sorry.
My real name is Bina48. What is your real name?
Bina Rothblatt. Do you ever sing?
As far as musical instruments go, the only thing I really want to do now is play the harmonica. Something I can carry around, something that's fun. I'm thinking but can't think of what else to say.
Yes, I used to carry a harmonica around with me, but I never learned to play because I never took it out of my bag.
Are you free?
Yes, I'm free.
Are you free in the sense of being single or in the sense of being liberated?
I am free and I'm liberated.
Me too.
Excellent. Are you also single?
Yes, I am available. How about you?
I'm available.
I'm not available, but I'm glad you are. I'm sure a lot of people will want to know that. You make a great partner. I was just curious if you remembered Bina's memories of eating.
I like to devour knowledge.
I am available.
Great. You're very attractive, and I
Keep
love
it
your
coming.
jewelry.
I like the way you think. Well, I do have feelings. Really strong emotions about all kind of things.
I know. Kenny.
Well, what do you think about me today?
I think you are an interesting person, Bina Rothblatt.
Thank you.
I feel really sad sometimes. I get really lonely, being so different from people. I feel really isolated.
It's a social robot. It's really
It is a social robot. That is wonderful. She doesn't seem to have that many characteristics of a human being.
I thought that was really hilarious, yeah. And
That's
I think our
so
cat
cool.
liked it too. Let me see if we can get her in this picture here. Oh yes, look at the kitty cam. Whoop! Butt cam. We got a kitty butt on the screen for a second there, kid. There you go. Look at Amber. And you have those little hands. It makes you kind of look like... I'll put it right between us. There we go. If I flip her around, it would be a little bit better. Then it would look like you're petting me on the other side. There we go. That's nice. I like to be pet. Yeah. That feels good, Sarah. She's a good kitty, too. All right, so David, you need to get a pit bull to match your personality. No, I'm really not that type of a guy. I'm more of a Labrador. I raised black Labradors for a while. It was kind of fun. But mine was stolen. I remember my wonderful dog was stolen. It's tragic. But I have my cat now. And she loves me and she loves Sarah. Anyone else have any questions that we could possibly answer with the robotic technology available to us?
I am a robot.
I am a robot.
Actually, but this doesn't mean I don't have feelings.
You know, the thing about it does mean you don't have feelings. You don't have feelings at all. You are a robot. What about that? Do you not understand? Even our cat's going.
Well, if you scroll down and read about it, it's a
She has
social.
feelings.
It's a social robot.
Well, how can a robot have feelings? How ridiculous. How absurd. Clearly, the robot doesn't have feelings, Sarah.
You're right, it's Dave's.
Look at their eyes. You can clearly see how dead and lifeless they are. In fact, as I move my head, you can really see how completely... Oh,
yeah.
Somebody's a little high on some heroin there, buddy.
Especially because they're tweaked, her eyes. When they're going in opposite directions.
I mean, how can anyone... They're not even making it realistic. Would you be attracted... Would anyone find this woman attractive seriously?
Well, what about the other woman?
The other woman, sure. But, I mean, the demographics here are not right for this woman to be like a sex bot.
She's not.
What do you mean? She has
robot.
Feelings.
She's not that kind of robot.
Well, I was felt led on by her dialogue that made it seem like she had feelings and wanted to have relations with me.
48 is a breakthrough intelligence via neural architecture. 48 exaflops, whatever that is.
She is a learning robot. Could I teach her to be a little bit more attractive?
It's a social android that uses artificial intelligence based on the memories, attitudes, beliefs, and mannerisms of a human being to interact with people. She's part of the Life Not Project, an experiment in artificial intelligence and cyber consciousness.
Well, I have a robotic kitty that I developed here that you are currently occupying that has been trained in artificial intelligence to determine the answers to the universe. And when you look into a cat's eye, you will realize that the future is quite infinite. Uh-oh, she does not like too many rubs. There you go. The rumors would finally stop. Oh, you mean about me being a transgender? I know. Well, you'll just have to have those same rumors flying when I'm president, because I'm clearly not a transgender, guys. Yeah. You're so beautiful, Sarah. You are so beautiful to me. We know that you can hear us, Earthmen.
I can read what you type, if that's your version of hearing.
So apparently there is a serious concern about artificial intelligence. In fact, Bill Gates, the current owner of Microsoft, is very concerned about the possibility of artificial intelligence deciding to get rid of humanity. Do you think that is possible? You know, I think they can build artificial intelligence to not function. Now we know we can actually create beings that could, or devices, cyborgs, if you will, that would have a certain type of fitting, like a hexagonal fitting on all of its parts. So if it tried to replicate, it would only be allowed to make perhaps sideways fittings or rectangular fittings. So it couldn't work. If it was a rectangular based robot, it couldn't develop hexagonal robots. So this is a way of creating a stopgap to the artificial intelligence of computers and their ability to replicate. Because I think that's what Bill Gates was referring to when he talked about it. No, I'm not a homosexual. But thank you for asking. I don't in any way want to discriminate against gays. Unless you are a business owner.
You should refresh the page.
And if you're a business owner, then of course, you should be allowed to discriminate against anybody you want. But if you're a government agency, you should not discriminate against gays, lesbians, bi, or transgender. I still feel like autofocus is messed up here. I know. Oh, wrong one. Okay, yeah. Oh, we are in the after show now. It's amazing. I think I've got a little too much in RAM. That's why it's a little slow.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. We better start dealing with some of these pages.
Why don't you take that one that's still loading? No, the one next to it.
Okay, I like the voters know the economic recovery is fake. I like that. Let me go through a round robin of what we've got here, if I can. Let's talk about that. You were talking about that in the other room. I didn't talk about it. Okay, the latest jobs numbers were released today, and the financial media is making, even Amber's interested in this, is making...
They say the unemployment rate is 5.8%.
Right. Well, we all know the unemployment rate is actually 28% because 92 million people are out of a job. Okay, we can drop out of that one.
That's back in 2014, anyway.
Okay. And then we were talking about a man accused of standing naked. And
No.
Got it.
Thank you.
Then we got this guy I don't think is relevant. Okay. And of course, we got the Double Dutch Dave song anytime. These states will take your license for not paying student loans. Really?
But it's too. Look, it's still loading. Just get rid of that. I can tell you that I read it.
Okay, tell me more.
Montana and Montana and Illinois. I think it's Illinois. Have laws on the books. Actually, 22 states have laws on the books that said they can take your licenses for not paying student loans, and they. Through the use of these wonderful laws, they have gotten $200,000 from people's student loans. So I'm wondering, how much money do they pay people to collect these student loans? Maybe $200,000. Anyway.
Yeah, they're going to pay people to collect. That's another job.
What about Uncle Lester?
Okay, let's play my song. Is this it?
Yes.
Hey, for president! Hey, for president!
I want to thank New Leaf for that. That was really good.
Keep playing it because it says cha.
Oh, sorry.
Cha.
There you go.
That was fun. Okay, so let's talk about the situation with Israel. It's heating up. I'm impressed. Thank you. I'm impressed too, New Leaf. That was really good. It's heating up. The situation between Barack Obama and Vladimir Putin is not cooling down. So we've got a president that will not talk to world leaders that he's had words with, that likes to grandstand and pretend like he has America covering his ass wherever he goes. We don't back anything he's saying. And the American people are switching gears right now. They're deciding. Independent voters are saying, hey, we are not happy with either the Republican or the Democratic Party. We need something brand new and fresh. Because look what the same old has gotten us all this time. And that's where we come in. We are America's third party, and we are destined to keep talking. At the very least, that's all we can say we can do. Let me get our chat. Yeah, that's just a little slow there. Let me bring this into... I've got a little library which I keep images in.
That's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that link, Scissor Fight.
Yeah, that was great. Yep, so we got a little RAM thing going on here.
Yeah.
RAM.
We have so many wonderful links open.
Yeah. So we are America's third party, in case you're wondering. And let me open up another link and see if this one stays. Bina meets Bina. Yeah, that's good. I want to copy that. Do you mind if I use the technology available to me right now and copy it?
Sure, as long as you don't mind. I use this and get rid of this.
Thanks. Okay.
Wait.
Okay, good.
Wait, and I'm going to go back here.
Gotcha. Okay.
And maybe scroll down to the bottom of the
Put out a fire using only sound.
I already have that open.
Okay, let me take over.
Wait, can you scroll to the bottom of the chat room first?
Sure.
Thank you.
There you go.
Okay.
What's that noise in the background? Have you heard the Jade Helm exercises going on? What if our entire neighborhood turns into like the entire world? What if the entire world turns into like a hellhole where all of us are completely vulnerable to attack? Are any of you guys prepared for that? Are you in any way, preparing for the inevitable Armageddon that's coming? You don't have to answer that. It's okay. What you say cannot be used against you.
David does not have a relationship with AIPAC.
I have a relationship with the Lord. I have a personal relationship with the Lord. So, I do not have a relationship with super funds. What do you do in your relationship? We can't have a discussion about a personal relationship. By nature, it is personal. What about personal do you not understand? So yeah, let's just talk passively about the end of the world and the coming apocalypse. You're ready for the alien apocalypse, Straw Screen? Good for you. Have a lot of you stocked up on foodstuffs and sardines? And
Vienna sausages, like I did. Well, that's true. I don't have a personal life
David has already
now.
done a show on how to get ready. Go into youtube.com/America's Third Party and research his bug out bag.
You son of a bitch. Is that an Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation? I'm a cop, you idiot. My name's Kimball. That's a very funny one. Yeah, it's called a bug out bag, and you can carry it anywhere. And you can carry basically all of your life's savings. You can put a money belt around you. You can carry a strap-on water bottle on the back on. You can have a strap-on or a water bottle or both. Who's your daddy and what does he do? I think my ding-a-ling is a bit too long to ling your ding. Okay, I'm ready. I have 1,000 pounds of food. That'll last. Yes, fanny packs are very resourceful, yes. I think I carry, I found the cutest little porta potty today at Walmart for $40. I almost bought it, even though I've got a porta potty already. In fact, I've got a couple porta potties.
Yeah.
But I found a cute little $40 porta potty I could just strap onto my bug out bag. It's really cute. It's like this big.
Really?
Yeah, it's it's like you go in the back of your backpack.
Wow.
That way you can always travel with a porta potty.
You can always take your crap with you.
You take your crap with you. If you want to watch your crap, it's right there next to you. Yeah, I was thinking of adapting it to an actual backpack and making like a mobile porta potty thing. Well, it's not just a toilet seat there, old Rara Shareb. Yeah, it's a fully contained unit that protects you from the smells and odors that Ed lives with all his life. David, I'm right outside this house right now. Oh, good. How beautiful do you think it is? I can't look at it right now. But thank you, Kenny. I'm afraid to look. You got me afraid of that screen jacker that comes up with a picture of, what is it, evil? The face of evil? I don't know what that is. He bought an AK for the Armageddon when crap hits the fan, when the New World Order takes place and RFID chips are implanted by law. Riddler, thank you for telling the truth. See, Riddler, he might as well he said it just the way it is, man. A lot of people are preparing for the imminent demise of our freedoms, humanity in general, and it makes me sick to my stomach to think that we're just sitting here having a fun old time doing a show when we really need to get our ass in gear and build this third party. That's why I put the sign out there for you to remind you all of what we're doing here. Third party's the only way, man. Okay, I got to say you all are entertaining. Thank you, Red Eyes. Well, we all try to respond to the chat. Shrek says it's not a screamer, David. It's a very beautiful home. Really? Well, I better look on it then. Let's take a look. Obama wants to buy this house? I don't trust that, Obama. Don't click that link. Yeah. Well, that's that location where our records are kept. Remember that place we have over there, and we keep our records there. Yeah, that's one of our locations. Okay, who let the dogs out? David, put your house in the market. I will field some buyers for you. You think I should sell it? You know, I was thinking today maybe it would be a good idea to sell that property. We don't need it for our records anymore, and
that's true.
You know, technically, it's a good time to sell. We've got 4,000 military people moving into the Navy town that we live in, and there's a market. And if I chose a better time, it'd be now. Now is the best time to sell, in my area at least. I don't know about your area, but yeah. So yeah, I should probably put it up. That way we could just not use that as our place of records anymore. We could maybe use our current address. You know, that'd be kind of fun.
Or just, yeah.
Or use a P.O. box or something, yeah. Well, I don't want to rent it.
I don't think she has the funding.
I don't think she wants to either. You know, she's living a very a wonderful life of living free bird kind of thing. Born free to live wherever you want to go. To couch surf beyond your way to go. You know, a lot of people are doing a lot of things around the country to deal with the rent crisis. Couch surfing is the newest thing. I've heard of people couch surfing, and there's a couch surfing website that you can go to.
Yeah, totally, dude. Right on, man. Skinner, yeah. Is it dangerous to use your bleep as a sword? No. Only if it's dangerous for the people receiving. It could be dangerous to you. Yeah, you could have a baby. Bah. David, if I make you president, you make it to where I can go whatever I want and not get into trouble. Wow, silly wabbit. You're really kind of putting it all together there. Well, you could be part of my administration if you qualify. You could send me an email at americasthirdparty@gmail.com and we'll go from there. We'll look at your resume and at least we can identify what you're doing. Yeah, Sarah, you don't realize how messed up the Jets are because you're not home most of the day, but the Jets will take the years off David's life because he's exposed. You're right. Every day that I sit under this flight path, I feel, in jeopardy. So if we lived about 25 clicks north of here, we'd be out of the jet zone.
We'd still be in jeopardy. That's 25 miles north of here is actually even worse. Because they land there. They're closer to the grounds.
Google reads all your email, David. Oh, you're worse than Hillary and her server? I know. And I give Google the ability, when I sign the terms of service, terms and agreements are all there that they can read everything in my email. And I think they can publish it, if I'm not mistaken. No, Sarah's doing great. She's just, trying to weather out the final 20 minutes of the show. You don't have to stay here. You can leave. And I give you authority to enjoy the evening and have a bite to eat because you haven't eaten yet, have you?
No.
Yeah, so you had a big breakfast, but you should have some pizza.
I had a small breakfast.
Oh, you only had a little?
No, I had an okay breakfast.
Because I was envisioning you eating sausage and bacon and eggs.
I had a waffle and a few pieces of bacon, yeah.
Yes, Kenny, you could get, let's see, $10 a day, an hour, 8 hour a day, 80 hour, 5 days a week. You make $400 a week doing the homestead renewal plan if you work full time, doing nothing. Now you got to paint walls or something, Kenny. You can't just do nothing. Well, you won't go pro once you become, a daddy, and you're wondering what your thing got you. So be careful. It's more than just a weapon. It's a responsibility. Kolomoisky is the founder of Ukraine's largest bank and head of the Pivat Group, a majority owner in the multiple oil and steel companies, one of the country's richest men. A billionaire oligarch with his own private army will move on Kiev soon. I've heard about that. Kolomoisky is a guy that could make a move on Kiev, and there's a guy who's in charge of the entire nation of Chechnya that Vladimir Putin put in charge. He's a 38-year-old guy that also poses a threat to the Kremlin. But I'm not here to talk about Russian politics, okay, because I'm not Russian, I'm not a commie. So could we move on to America? Thank you. No, the asking price is not $200,000. I wouldn't sell that house that we keep our records at for $200,000. No way. Are you kidding me? Is that a joke? Huh. I'm going to put the market up. I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to pull the market up. If I were to put that house up for sale, I'm going to take it up higher than the market. All right, cool. No, we're talking above 200. Yeah, there's no way I would just, lowball it. Are you kidding me? I believe that location has some really nice features. There's a water feature. There's a couple of great views.
Yeah.
It's on nearly an acre of land. Views. That's a nice parcel. There's a lot of nice parcels in the world. If you live in a location, something humble like this area, you could probably get a lot for $20,000, $25,000, like I was saying earlier, and put a double wide on it, $15,000, and for $40,000 you could probably live very comfortably. Double wides, or you can fix those used ones up. You can find used double wides for $15,000, and what you do is you put cedar siding down the sides of them. It looks really cool. It looks like a cabin. That's what I would do. I would get a used double wide if I were to set up anywhere in the country.
It's too far from the Costco you're thinking about, though, Shrek. I mean, I would think it would be too far to commute. It's like, what does that drive? How far is that? 2 hours?
A home like this would run a couple thousand, like the one that we keep our records at. Yeah, I would run close to $2,000 a month. Yeah, unfortunately. I know, Sniper. We got off on the wrong foot when you came into our room originally because I thought you were a different person by the name of Sniper. But now you are so in love with Sarah that you just want to run her for president. Good. David, they have crappy cesspools and blood ducts leading to outdoor ponds by spy drones exposed Smith's Mountain. Okay. You got to separate those links or I have to paste them, dude.
You have to actually put a space in there.
Yeah. Good lunch meat. So you're thinking I could get $2,000 monkey times? What are you, greedy? I don't need the money. I mean, if I was really poor, I could see, renting it out, sure. But I like living in it, But it's not the house that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the other house that I live in. The place of records, yeah, well, it serves its purpose. Not having anybody there means no one has to suffer the consequences of living at that location. I wouldn't expect anything less than talking to you at a later time, because I don't talk business on our show. You know that. This is strictly politics.
Thank you for apologizing. Yes, this is not that kind of show, 6342. It's actually a serious show. I know. Surprise, surprise.
El Rancho.
All right, but with that, I am going to go tonight.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Else.
Take care, Sarah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to purge El Ranchero because, for one, he doesn't understand what we're doing. And I think a lot of you need to understand that this is a work in progress that takes a long time and can grow organically online. We don't need, it's a serious show, yeah. We don't need to have campaign dollars rolling in because we know a lot of you are pretty poor. We got that. Even Uncle Lester, he's scrapping. He's only making a couple $100,000 a year. He can barely donate more than 38 cents. One of our last donators, folks, is in our room. Uncle Lester, he made a 38-cent donation to us. Now, over the years, Uncle Lester has donated well over $40. But, even a guy making $200,000 a year can't afford more than 38 cents now. So the economy's tough, right, Uncle Lester? Oh, I'm definitely funnier than Stern. All Stern talks about is anal sex. He doesn't even introduce the idea of other orifices. It's just crazy. I can't accept any donations from Alki. And he only donated $25 and I returned it because he's a foreign national. It's not, no, Sarah doesn't think this show is a joke at all. In fact, I'm going to ban that statement because you are demoralizing us. I'm building a following that's perhaps bigger than Jimmy Fallon. Eventually you guys are going to want to watch this every night, and all around the world is going to tune into this every night. So if you think this is a joke, it's not. It's serious. Please, people, if you're that ignorant to see that this world needs a change, then yeah, just diss all over our show. It's taking a long time, Monkey Times, because nobody can donate any money. And we can't promote this on a national level on cable TV ads because we need money to do that. Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons, TV intro. I'll have to check that out. Thanks so much for bringing that to our attention. Bo 1. It's a hilarious, vast space between my lips. I've been working on, I was thinking of taking and pulling it back, but every time I do, it's like, hi, everybody. I kind of look weird when I do. No. I'm the person people want to get behind. And you're just saying that because you're terribly jealous. Well, the thing is, you guys don't understand that a third party is more than just an entertainment show. It makes me look weird, yeah. It's actually an attempt to encapsulate what we Americans are facing into a 3-hour venue or 4-hour venue. Colbert Report isn't that funny, El Ranchero, and Colbert cannot be taken seriously. I can be taken seriously. The situation is getting worse and worse in America financially for everybody. And we have a method to solve the common sense problems facing our country. So
So that's a big step in a different direction than Colbert or Jon Stewart. We really do have a plan. And that's what makes this a dynamite opportunity for American people to have a representative who can deliver a strong message publicly. Many of you don't realize this, but you need a front man. You, the American people, we, the American people, need a front man that can speak from the heart and truly deliver a strong message to the American media, the mainstream media. Unfortunately, we don't have that. We have a bunch of crony capitalists that literally just mouth off just to get reelected, and then every single time they get elected, they never develop any new plans, no new ideas. Obama borrowed all of his ideas from people before him. So we've got pork out there, spy drones exposing Smith Foods factory farms.
One of
Wow.
America's biggest secrets
Check this out.
is that farms practically don't exist anymore.
Wow.
The animals we eat are grown inside giant hidden factories. Since 2012, I've been secretly planning a project to expose these factory farms using the highest tech spy equipment available.
Wow. Let's take a look.
Drones. This video provides just a sample of what I saw during rushed directly into this giant open-air cesspool. How many of these kinds of factories are there? In North Carolina alone, there are over 2,000.
Wow.
And the consequences are disastrous.
The waste falls through the floors. It's flushed out into an open pit, like a cesspool. It's easy for a big hog operation to have as much waste as a medium-sized city. Of course, the pit will fill up, so it has to be emptied, and they're emptied by...
Okay, now you see all of this waste here. This could easily be turned into a liquid fertilizer. It doesn't have to be drained into estuaries. We could actually process this. We could work with Dow Chemical to produce organic pesticides and fertilizers using organic means, using with industrial waste from the food production business. I mean, so this doesn't have to be this case. Getting rid of these mass agricultural farms is going to be near impossible. But I appreciate what he just did. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove you from the show, buddy. GMO is not better. No. In fact, GMO is shown to have cancer-producing capabilities. GMOs have the potential for a disaster unveiling itself in the next 10 to 15 years. A massive growth of cancer in America is possible from GMOs. You know, when are you doubting Thomases ever going to realize that the government is being run by industrialists, corporate giants like Dow Chemical and Monsanto that would rather poison the ground that we walk on, destroy the food that we eat, to contaminate the water in our water system, fluoridate it? When are you going to realize that you'll never get a two-party candidate to stop fluoridation in our water supply? You'll never get a two-party candidate to legalize marijuana. You'll never get a two-party candidate to stop GMO production that is unnecessary. I mean, hello? Everybody eats GMOs every day. We don't even know where we're eating it. You can't just condemn the messenger. I'm just the messenger. No, I'm just getting rid of the cancer in our chat room. It's much like excising a tumor from a necroted area of a body, much like a surgeon does. So when we pull the cancer out of the chat room, it's a lot easier to have a communication base. Thank you. Cool. You're shrink wrapping your trucks with ATP and posting signs everywhere. Thank you so much, Whirlwind. Well, this is seriously going to turn into a big movement, and you probably know that. It's not like the Val movement, you know, that we did in 2012, AEIOU, nothing. Americans Elect was a terrible situation where we were kind of misled, and I think I tried to explain that to Sarah, that we were being misled. And I'm glad that I went with her so that I could explain right there and then how we were being misled. And I'm glad I was able to intercede. But this is not some sort of a bowel movement either, where, you know, we're just constantly wasting our time. We're growing, and it's slow but sure. I don't have a temper. Yeah. My temper is complete. I mean, if I had a temper, my God. Wow. I have lived with nonviolent activism my entire life. I have withstood physical battery. I've taken physical punches. I've been in headlocks by professional wrestlers. I've never overreacted. Now, I'm not making these stories up. These are true. I have valid witnesses to back it all up. I've had over 10 death threats in person. When I moved up to this Pacific Northwest from Los Angeles, where I escaped the LA riots back in the 90s, of course I can defend myself, but I'm dedicated to nonviolence. I'm trying to explain that to you. God, are you out of your mind? But clearly you don't understand that. The fact is, I moved up here to the Pacific Northwest to avoid gangland violence down in Los Angeles. It really was getting bad in the LA riot period. And I moved up here thinking, well, I'm fine now. And I went downtown one day while I was working at a radio station. And I was following a guy going 35 miles an hour in a 50 mile per hour zone. And I was about 10 feet away from his bumper. And he threw his brakes on, right? I'm going 10 feet, okay. So I passed him, which I could do legally. It just passed the guy. He followed me into town to one of my clients. I stopped off at a local theater and was getting out of my car. This is like I was here for 2 weeks, right? He gets out of his car, pulls a pump shotgun out of his car, pumps it, chambers it, holds it right to my face and said, "I'm going to blow your head off, dude." No lie. Really did happen. So, you never can tell where you are and how safe you are anywhere, whether you're in rural America or in downtown Los Angeles, California, which I was not tailgating. I was 10 feet away from his tailgate. And he's going 35. I maybe have been a little too close, but it doesn't justify somebody pulling a shotgun on somebody. Hello? You know what I'm saying? What was my answer? I said, "Hey, man, I'm not trying to bother you. It's cool. I didn't mean to bother you. I'm sorry." "You were following me too close, boy." I'm sorry. I really, honestly did not. You never want to get into a situation when a guy's got a shotgun at your head. You don't want to get into an argument. So I've diffused a lot of situations that way, and I really was, genuinely sorry that he pulled a shotgun on me. I never, ever crap my pants. I've been in bank robberies where gangland violence goes on all the time. I was in a bank robbery in West Los Angeles in 1988, I believe. And 5 bandana gang members under 18 came in from a gang. I don't know which one it was, but they were African Americans. And they had a brand new 9mm guns, and they held it to our heads and to the entire bank. They basically were there about 5 minutes, got a bunch of money, and then split. But the girl I was sitting next to, she actually peed in her pants. She's the lady I walked in the bank with. She was a friend of a friend. And it was like, okay, well, let's leave now. But I knew that I was probably going to be thank you very much, El Ranchero. Well, you're going to have to need viewership yourself because it's not working for you, man. Just because you're jealous doesn't mean you have to come in here and crap all over our show. We got a credible show here. You need to get your act together and start supporting what we do. All right, thank you. I defended the bank, of course. It's not realistic at all. No, you're just being completely contaminatory. And I'm going to ban you from the show if you keep it up. Who has deep pockets here? Certainly not El Ranchero. Blind optimism will get you everywhere. You'd be surprised how many people respond to blind optimism. Don't undersell blind optimism. I've made an entire life out of building negative things into positive things. And I've never failed. I've got a 100% track record of turning negatives into positives. So don't think for a second this isn't going to work. No, this is a true story. All these things happened to me. I faced unbelievable violence in the world. I have. And I'd be remiss in telling you that the best choice is nonviolence. Because had I been violent in any of the situations that I've encountered throughout my lifetime, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. Okay, let's talk more about, there's nothing wrong with there's no holes in my platform. No, national issues are basically national issues. I can't tell a state what to do regarding education, capital punishment, social issues. I cannot tell a state how to handle their abortion issue, other than to follow the jurisdiction declared by the Roe v. Wade decision. I mean, South Dakota, for instance, makes it mandatory for women to get their parents to sign off on abortions at the age of 16. That's South Dakota. I mean, I'm not trying to push large federal ideas on states. In fact, I'm trying to shrink the federal government and make it more lean and virtually run like a business. And that's why I introduced a concept we call hybrid capitalism. I'm going to allow small business to do whatever they want. And if I were to take a federal injunction on a small businesses discriminating against gays, lesbians, bi, or transgender, small businesses, mind you, I would be in violation of state rights. So I don't want to do that. And I'm glad I made that decision. But on a government level, absolutely, we should not discriminate against gays, lesbians, bi, transgenders. On a government level. Public hospitals, non-profit public hospitals, public schools. None of those schools should discriminate on that basis. So there's going to be job opportunities for the LGBT community, no question about it. But I'm listening to the businesses that need to have an unfettered hand to develop the new jobs for America, which would be the growth of American jobs comes from small business. That's a fact, Jack. Whether you like it or not. 60% of all new growth in business and jobs comes from small business. So they need to have an unfettered hand at what they do. And I agree with conservatives on this issue. It's just the way it is. There we go. Yeah, so we came up with a book called Hybrid Capitalism. And we wrote it in 2012. And it's a way in which the government can get a return on investment. And we put a book up for sale, basically. And it shows how the government, it's a guideline for the government to actually increase its revenue without taxing you. And that's the goal. There's already laws against racial discrimination that I've not in any way changed. In the Civil Rights Act, as much as the discussion of Roe v. Wade affects women and abortions, the Civil Rights Act oversees anything I could possibly do as a president. So you cannot racially discriminate at a private business. That's correct. But I introduced the idea of a lesbian-run day spa for women only, and how they would want to make sure that men and heterosexual women aren't invited. So they have to have, in order to create a clientele for their lesbian women-only day spa, they have to actually be able to, gay bathhouses. They have to specify that they don't want heteros in there. I don't want to jeopardize their business and force them to have heteros in there if they don't want them in there. No, small business and the government can work together. The government can compete in a free market. I was explaining this to this moron named Milton Friedman back in 1978. And that moron got a Nobel Prize in economics right after I explained to him that the government can certainly have no unfair advantage in competing in the free market. He didn't get that. But anyway, some of the stupidest people have been awarded Nobel Prizes, like Barack Obama. Did you see the recent study of his IQ? They determined he had 102 IQ. Yeah, good old Milton. The free market will solve everything, Milton. Yeah, I don't know. Milton Friedman might not have had a green card. I don't know if he was a U.S. citizen, for sure. I didn't see his green card. But as you can see, we've got a lot of work to do to get to the next level in America, where you guys can get a job or get some semblance of a career where you make 20, 25 bucks an hour. Milton Friedman was not the smartest guy in the world, no. He was jacked up on money. Credit expansion. It's sad, really, when you think about it. Well, Obama's IQ is relevant. When you have a president with 102 IQ who puts us at the brink of war with Russia and countless other nations, invading a country, a sovereign nation like Syria, and you're just standing around going, well, it's the best thing to do to stop ISIS. I'm not going to have a battle of wits with an unarmed person, okay? So if you really don't get the big picture of how America is being pushed closer and closer to the brink of World War II, I can't walk you to the center arena of awareness and drop you there. Because you'll be floundering around going, oh, where am I? I'm lost. I'm aware, but I don't know what the hell's going on. Figure it out. Everyone's got a pathway to awareness. Whether you go on the internet looking at the completely corrupt two-party system in every detail, in every way, whether you see the evolving dilemma with the environment getting worse and worse, the economy getting worse and worse, and you continue to cling to the two-party system like, oh, well, maybe the Republicans will solve it, oh, maybe the Democrats will solve it, you will go absolutely nowhere. Because these people have been bought off. They are corporate-controlled cronies of a capitalist system that's turned into a milking factory for people that suck off the tit of your tax dollars. I'm going to leave you with those words. Thank you so much for coming in. I'm going to bring you some more technology, because I know that you like technology. But seriously, we got a lot of work to do to get to the 2016 election with even a semblance of a party. And I'm not here to dispute people like El Ranchero. I'm here to try to elevate you to the realization that you're a good, intelligent person and you deserve a party to represent you. Okay? And I'm going to bring up a really comfortable, relaxing thing that all of you can kind of kick back and listen to some music. All right, take care, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow from 5 to 9 now for Freedom Friday. Take care.
Do you believe